The second most exciting day in the mortal realms. Bill, are you happy? Are you doing good today?
I'm doing good, yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. We're doing Monday instead of Friday because I think you're going to be gone for a little bit, right? And we just
I'm gonna be
really
gone for
wanted
a
this
little
in.
bit. Yep.
Yeah, but and we're going to jump right in because holy shit, this is a fat book. um, you're cool with that, yeah?
Yep.
All right. Okay, so we're talking about Soulblight Gravelords, and I'm a little surprised they came out instead of Flesh Eater Courts right now, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's gonna be a cool
that's what
book.
they do.
Yeah. Overall, I think I have a very high opinion on this book's design. Couple third
Oh,
rail
great.
things I don't like. We'll talk about them when we get there, but that might just be nitpicky, but we'll see. Okay, let's start off Allegiance abilities. Um, so Cursed Bloodlines, you have to take one of the five. And remember when we're like, oh, for those these will probably just be like a passive and we'll move on in our lives.
And they're not.
Spoiler or not, yeah, they all come with their own heroic actions, monstrous actions, artifacts,
Oh,
and
wow.
command
Okay.
traits. Yep,
So there's a lot going on
and
here.
passives. Yeah, so like each dynasty is like extremely different.
So I wonder what causes them to be like this book we want to make them like really different. And this book we want them to just be passives. Like I'm
Right?
curious
Like
I'm curious if it's just like that's the designer that got it and was like, you know what? Yep. I like doing it this way, so we're gonna keep doing it this way.
yeah, I
Or if
don't
it's like there's
know.
something more to it, or
My guess is it's not that because I feel like we would have seen another one before Slanesh, right?
so you think
Oh,
it's more like a more recent trend and like the other one was already like OCR Phone Reapers was already done or something like that.
I just think like because I think at the end of the day, they think OCR Bone Reaper is like at the end of the day, a legion's a legion. They have like some differences, but like the army's kind of unified. But like being familiar with the Soulblight lore, Soulblight
Mhm.
hates Soulblight more than anything else, right? And
Right.
like they just want to rule, and like each bloodline brings like different traits to each fact, or like personality traits, like ways of warfare, ways of life. So
Mhm.
it might be like a lore thing of like we really, really want to distinguish these from each other. So like
I'm
Legion of
surprised.
Blood plays very much this particular way, right?
Mhm.
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I'll say though, like I'm pretty in love with how they did it in this book.
Oh no, that's great. Yeah. No, I'm
Yeah,
just curious if like there's any like seemingly rhyme or reason to because like Slanesh is the only other one, and that one like doesn't seem to make any sense,
yeah,
right?
and
Because
like
like they only recently came out with the lore for that.
exactly, and like I think Slaves of Darkness was one of those before too, and then they undid that.
Yeah, yeah. Like I really would have expected slaves to have it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Like, so maybe we'll see more of it, maybe not. But overall, if it's a good thing, I'll like it. If it's not a good thing, I won't like it. That's how it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like I'm kind of fine with either, but
hmm
yep. Anyway,
So yeah, they did they changed how you get your units back in this army again.
again.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
How do we do it now?
yeah, I'm not sure how much I enjoy this. So yeah, Endless Legions is at the end of the movement phase. You pick one friendly Soulblight Gravelord summonable unit that has been destroyed and roll a dice. You add one if it's your turn.
Nasty.
On a 4 up, you put a replacement unit that's half of what the unit was destroyed. So if you had a unit of 10 skeletons, you become a unit of 5, 20 zombies, unit 10, yada yada. Round it up, so units of 5 become 3. And you have to place it wholly within 12 inches of a friendly Soulblight Gravelord's hero and more than 3 inches from enemy units. Not 9, 3.
Oh, so you can practically put them in
Yeah.
combat.
However,
Okay.
you're not allowed to charge or make pile-in moves the same turn that it was set up. And you can't like replace a replacement unit.
Oh, you can't charge the turn they come in.
Yep.
So that's how they. Interesting.
You can't charge,
Man, I
or like
just.
if they charge you, you can't pile in. So they could probably abuse that, right?
Oh, they can't even pile in.
They can't
Oh,
even pile
weird.
in. Yep.
Because I'd be willing to bet that's for the zombies if the zombies' ability stayed the same. But
Yeah.
like that actually shuts it off for like. Oh wait, the turn they got. That wouldn't be super relevant. Oh no, if you got it on your opponent's turn, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's very
and then
irrelevant.
they charge you. It's super, yeah. So
Oh,
it's
that's
like
so weird.
it's a very
That's
powerful zoning tool and nothing else, right?
yeah.
There's
That's
one
gonna
more
be
thing too about it I want to talk about
yeah.
real
Yeah,
quick.
no, no, go for it. Yeah.
There's a keyword that's summonable hero too. So White Kings can
Oh,
also be brought back with this rule, for example.
so you can okay. You can't replace them again if they die, but you can
Yeah,
replace them once.
you place them once and they start with 3 wounds instead of full wounds.
Oh, that's how they did it. Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool. Okay.
I like that, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, just outside of 3, like that seems like on the surface, like uh-oh, what are we doing here, right?
Yeah,
But I
and then they
think
did it.
yeah, and then they put the restriction on that you just like can't move the turn you set up, like you just
Yeah,
can't do it.
I was very much expected to say, well, that's getting around at any time now. Okay,
Yeah, I don't
but no,
know.
actually,
Yeah, it
I don't
seems
think so.
fine, right? Like
Yeah,
it
it's a
doesn't seem
very
egregious.
different way to do it.
Yeah, I like that it's in the movement phase too, like at the end. So they like put up stuff, and then you can body block,
Right.
which is very powerful.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah.
Yep,
So
and
like you can be like, oh, you're trying to make a longer charge here. I'm just going to get in your way.
it's through heroes, not grave sites either, which is pretty big too. Because I can't just put a grave site in your like backfield, and then when
Yeah,
you
it's
leave, I'm like, haha, I take the objective. I have to move there to do that to you.
okay, so it's only heroes.
Only
Interesting.
heroes. Yep.
Okay. Huh. So
Interesting, right?
that is interesting because that like it kind of like I think it's easier for an opponent to
Intent.
see where you can operate. Yeah.
Yep. I agree.
And it now is it within is it within 12 of a hero?
Only within 12 of a hero, more
Okay.
than 3 from enemies. So it's almost
Yeah, so you
like
can
weirdly, a strangely only defensive tool, right? You're not taking points with this much anymore.
I mean you could. You very easily could, honestly, right? Like
Yeah,
into your movement phase, you just plop them outside of 3 and be like this point's mine now. Like as long as the hero's in the vicinity, right?
yeah. I guess like a lot of times what I did in the old book, and a lot of people did in the old book, right, was they put a tombstone in the back, and then if the opponent left, I just throw
Yeah, they
like
would
a
just
unit of 5 skeletons, take the point. Yeah.
so it's not going to be like take a free point. It's going to be more contesting points that
Mm-hmm.
that are your opponents currently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that it's a 4-up and a 3-up. I like that it's not based on killing things, right?
Yep. Yep.
It's based on like turn priority, and it's nice that it's harder on your opponent's turn and easier on yours, right?
That just makes sense. Yeah.
Yep, I like that.
And you can only pick one, right? One per
Yes.
turn. Okay.
Yep. So, I think in the last book I did it, and this one I'll definitely do it. I want small, fast units, and I want them to just go right up there, waste their time, get them killed turn 1 to try to trigger the
Oh,
game
absolutely.
really quick.
That's like exactly what I was just thinking. Like that's 100% what you want to be doing.
That's the strategy.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Overall, powerful rule. I don't think it's too much because I think like being near a hero is pretty limiting, but not super limiting, right?
Yeah. It's definitely limited, especially the fact that your opponent not always, but like 75% of the time is going to get the option of whether or not they charge, right? The unit that comes up or like gets out of the way or something.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, not necessarily gets out of the way, I guess, but if it shows up on your opponent's turn, they get the option of like, do I want to charge this or not? I guess.
And like if they leave it alone too, like a lot of your stuff is very slow too. So like you could block yourself out too.
Yep.
Of like charging
the
thing
careful.
you actually want to, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's good. I'm pretty big fan. Unquiet Dead is the tombstone rule where you have like 2 of them in yours, 2 of them in your opponent's, and you can deep strike stuff through the tombstone. That didn't change.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
How much can you put in reserve?
1 for each unit. Okay, that did actually change. You need it's like the Stormcast where it's like 1 unit on the table means 1 in the reserve.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure before you could just toss them in there. Yeah, so I'm fine with that change. I always like that.
To it.
Yeah. And then Deathly Invocations, that changed a little bit too. So that was the thing where it's like Yeah. White Kings and Necromancers pick 2, and Vampires pick 3, and Mortarks pick 4, but the unit can't be picked twice. And then you return D3 wounds worth of stuff. So, it's a lot cleaner now. You pick 3 units within 12 of a hero. They get to return 3 models. If they're also within 12 of a gravesite, you return 4 models.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So
Yeah, that's a pretty clean way of doing it.
yeah, I like
Now,
that
is
it's not
it
a roll.
always 3 models, or is it like 3 wounds worth of models?
3 wounds worth of models.
Okay, great.
So yeah, so if you have 1 wound infantry, you're getting 4 of them back if you're within both. If you have like 2 wound stuff like dire wolves, which I think will be pretty cool in this book, but you'll get 1, and a tombstone will get you 2, which is awesome.
Yeah, no, I kind of like that. Like it's like almost more. It's like optimal to have them in range, so you can get the 2, so it's not like wasted. And then it's like, oh, I want to make sure I'm in range of that.
Yeah, I like that it's capped at 3 of them, so it's like on less units but more powerful in each of those.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you're not like incentivized to like just spread a bunch of units thin everywhere.
Yep.
I mean, like you still probably will, but it's nice.
All right.
Overall,
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with that change. It's easy, and it's just you don't roll. Because remember, like in Legion of Nagash and Soulblight, when we played it all the time, you're like, all right, this unit D3, this unit D3.
Oh yeah, it just takes forever
Yeah.
to go through that whole process.
Now it's just like blop 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 done. Great.
Yep.
Yeah.
I completely agree. I like that change a lot.
Yeah, me too.
It's just like quickens the pace of the game.
Yeah. And then this one is their Deathless Minions. They just have a 6-up ward. You don't have to be within range of a tombstone or a hero or anything.
Yeah, no more measuring.
I like that a lot. This is the one book I thought would make sense. And it would just be like within 6 inches of a hero or a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
So like it would be like, oh, the skeletons and the zombies like really need their master to survive. But you know what? Like, who cares, right?
Yeah. Honestly, I think that's just better because it's like a rule that like you almost always were in range, right? But
Yeah.
like the times you weren't, and like it's easy to forget because you just always have it, and then it's like, oh, and then it's like the feels bad of, oh, I cheated, I didn't mean to, sorry.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. I hate those instances.
And like
where
I
it's
don't
easy
think
to-
that kind of flavor adds a lot, right?
No,
Like-
because I feel like the flavor can just be like, you know, you were summoned to this battlefield, and like I feel like being right next to, you know, your leader or whatever, it doesn't really. It's just like a scale thing, right?
Yeah.
My brain can work out that it's like, oh, because he's here, you know.
Yeah, like it's a wholly
Necromancer
within
was around or whatever.
180 inches, right?
Yeah,
Which
basically.
is the battlefield, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that, and it's just way easier, yeah.
And then there's like a little gamification. It's like, because you might say it's like, well, but what if all the heroes die? It's like, well, then we just don't make the rules bad, and we just let you keep doing it.
Yeah, and you know what, too? If all the heroes die, you're not bringing back entire units, so you also still have that angle.
Yeah, right. So yeah, exactly. There you go.
Yep.
They're just tough to kill, right?
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Exactly. And yeah, I'm not surprised that a zombie would be a little hardier than the average person, right?
Oh sure.
Like you
yeah.
cut off someone's arm, they're done. The zombie's not.
Yeah, they're done. Yeah, the zombie's just gonna be like, oh well.
The person's like, ow! Yeah, exactly.
There ain't no nerves here.
Yeah.
Get back in the fight.
Exactly.
Can you imagine a zombie being like, ow, that hurt. I don't want to keep going. And the master has to be like, come on, get in there. You're not actually hurt.
Yeah.
I reanimated you. You can still move.
Yeah, that's so funny, too.
Mhm.
It's like, ow! Yep, nope, that's not how it works.
No.
But, yeah. Really good set of allegiance abilities. Like, I can't complain. I'm curious to see how that, within 3 inches, or outside of 3 inches is going to play. Because that's definitely a third rail of, like, how you expect every deep strike to work in the game.
Oh, yeah, and it's just wildly different. Yeah.
I also feel like if it wasn't there, it would be impossible to put things down.
Yes. Do you feel like that this is a test mechanic for potential future abilities? Because it feels like it to me a little bit.
That,
Of, like,
maybe...
changing how deep strike works a little bit.
Yeah, so, like, put it within 3, but then you can't move or pile in.
Yeah, or charge.
Or charge, yeah.
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 Like it feels like an interesting test of like it's like well it's kind of weird that there's like these gigantic bubbles, like why can't they show up there? And
Yeah.
then it's like you kind of like do the lore of like oh they've got I was gonna say summoning sickness, but that's like actually a magic term.
Yeah, but like it's
I mean the same idea, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, you can't do anything the turn you get there.
Yeah, like again, I'm curious to see how this goes here. Because if it's like fine, that might be a great way to play it in the future.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and like just change everything to that.
Yeah.
Or maybe like what if it's like a linear choice of like I want to be able to charge, so I choose to be outside of 9. I don't care, I need this point. I'm within 3, yeah.
Or maybe it's a thing where they're like, well, we like the idea of deep striking, right?
Yeah.
And we like the concept of like showing up on the battlefield, but it's just so swingy being the like, well, you still can charge because it's outside of 9. And then like alpha strike lists that just like win or lose based on making those charges and stuff like that. Maybe they're like, what if we cut that out? Still let you deep strike, and even let you deep strike closer to things, but just not let you do anything that turn, so your opponent has a chance to react.
Yeah, like if your deep strike intent is to take objectives, you can still do it, right? But
right, exactly. Yeah,
I don't want you to cheat
like
combat speed. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Or at least give like reaction to it, which I think this really does very well.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of this, but
yeah.
So let's see how the rest of the book looks.
Yeah.
But overall, swinging a hit. So, the worst spell lore in the game previously, not even close. And then, so basically, what happened is instead of 6 vampire spells and 6 death mages, it's 3 and 3. So let's talk about them. And then the idea before was that you had a rule called Lokish of Shaiish that let you dual cast spells on a 9 or unmodified 9 up on a spell roll, right? A lot of spells just didn't synergize with that. Like there's one that was like an extra movement, and then it just said, "Oh, if you get a 9, you don't double anything." Actually, like,
oh, that's weird.
Yeah, okay,
they were just like they came up with this idea, and then like when they were making the content for it, they were like, "Oh, hang on, this doesn't really work."
Yeah,
so this doesn't work.
So they changed it slightly, so it's written on the spell itself what happens if you get a 9 up.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Yep, perfect, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the 3 vampire spells. First one, Soul Spike. This is pretty much the same as it was before, except for I think it was 12 inches and now it's 24. You pick an enemy unit, and when they make a charge, after they make the charge move, you roll a dice equal to the distance move, and each 4-up's a mortal wound. And if you get a 9 or up, you pick 2 targets for this. You can't. It's 2 different targets, by the way, so you can't just double stack it on one guy.
You can't just like because that's like always the play.
Yep.
If you're allowed to.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I guess like the average roll is like 7 or 8, right?
Yep.
And so you'll probably get half of those, so you're doing like 2 to 3 damage with this, which is not bad. It also says equal to the charge roll for that charge move. It doesn't say unmodified, so I think any modifiers go into this too. So if you have like a +3 to charge, I add 3 more dice, right? That might get FAQ'd.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm just gonna assume that that's an FAQ thing.
Yeah, that's just what it sounds like to me on the surface, at least. But
that's one of those things to keep in mind if they don't FAQ in the first FAQ.
Yeah.
But I'd be willing to bet they do.
Sure. Next spell, Bile Transference. This one's weird. I like it, though. So, casting value 6, range of 9. This was the one in the old book, too. The difference is that this is range of 9 instead of 3, which is pretty big. And you pick one enemy...
only 3 before? Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay.
Pick one enemy unit within range invisible to the caster. Roll a number of dice equal to the wounds characteristic. So if you're hitting a Gargant, you're rolling 35. For each 5-up, used to be a 6-up. For each 5-up, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound, and you heal 1 mortal wound. Allocated to the caster. And if you get a 9-up, it's each 4-up is a damage instead of each 5 up.
Okay.
So this is your monster nuke.
Yeah, it is.
And like, let's hit something reasonable, like a cavalry unit with 5 wounds or 6 wounds.
I was
right?
funnily about. Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Yeah. You can heal 2 or heal 3, based on if you get a 9 or not. Like, I don't hate that either. So like, and then if you're hitting a 1 wound thing, get fucked, I guess. But there's gonna be heroes out there.
You're not casting it there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And 9 inches, that's not terrible range either. It makes you have to get in there. Or, like, if they're coming at you, you can use it defensively.
Yeah.
But, like, that seems on flavor. It seems fine. The twin cast, instead of being 2 things, I think being 1 thing with just +1, that's fine.
Yeah, I think that's good even.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I like that design.
Okay, that's very interesting.
So I think we have, like, 2 okay spells, but there's nothing like... I bring a wizard for this spell, let's go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's not doing a thing for my army, it's just like nice little chip. But that's okay.
I mean, it depends on how much more chip damage we have, because that's pretty decent chip against like a hero or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like a Galatian champion or whatever.
Yeah.
That's sitting on a point that you're trying to take.
Mm-hmm.
Hit it for a decent amount with that.
That's fair.
It's nothing world breaking, but
yeah, or just like if monsters become a thing ever again too.
Yeah,
just
right.
Like having 4 to 5 damage in the pocket against monsters. That's
pretty big.
Yeah.
Right. And what's the casting value of it again?
6.
6. Okay, so that's pretty reasonable.
And I believe it used to be 7 as well.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, pretty good.
All wins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, and then the last one. This one is interesting. Spirit Gale. This used to be a beat a bravery thing. It's casting value 7 now. And if you get it, you deal 1 mortal wound to each enemy unit on the battlefield. On a 9-up, you do this process once and then again. So, basically 2 mortal wounds to everything on the battlefield.
What?
That's...
okay.
Yeah. I don't like that, right?
Like that seems like just a lot of paperwork.
Yeah.
Right? Because then you got to think of bravery for literally every unit in your army.
Yeah, and if you're fighting something with like low bravery, yeah, you're forcing a lot of tests.
Forcing a lot of tests that are like mostly unmeaningful too.
Yeah,
it's only 1.
Yeah, and like it's one of those things where I feel like it's gonna be awesome against some armies, and then some armies just have like natural healing, does actual nothing.
They just actually don't care. Yeah, like this army, for instance.
Funnily enough, yes.
Yeah.
I don't like the design space of that necessarily. I'm probably gonna play it, and I'm probably gonna have fun doing it, but
yeah, it's not my favorite, but
yeah,
fine, I guess. I don't know.
It's just like it could have been like range of 18 of the caster, right? Everything within 18, boom. And like instead of
I don't even know if that's better because then you got to measure out the whole thing and everything.
Fair, yeah.
But maybe not, I don't know. That's weird. It's just a weird one.
Yeah, like I guess I could argue if it's better or not. And like you have to measure out. Yeah, that's a little annoying, but I'd also like you could put a guy in the corner of the board, like out of range of everything, out of dispel range, just like fishing for that, right? And then if units die, you can like pop units up near him to get him back in the game. Worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Like at least at 18 would be forcing him to play in the middle of the game in the board.
Yeah, actually be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's pros and cons. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Overall, though, like these don't seem like 3 terrible spells. They seem like 3 solid spells, right?
Yeah, they're okay.
Yeah, they're okay.
Yeah.
But the big one that we lost, though, is...
I don't think.
What's up?
None of them are world beating.
No, I don't think so.
Defining or something, yeah.
We lost the 6-inch move one, which is pretty big.
Oh yeah, it is pretty big.
Yeah, but you know what? That's okay. We got a lot of other cool stuff in this book to make up for that.
Yeah. I'm sure we will get to it.
Yeah. And then the Lord of the Death Mages. We have basically 3 old spells, but one of them is renamed for some reason. That's fine.
Okay, that's weird, but...
Yeah, Fading Vigor, casting value 6, range 18, subtract 1 from attack characteristics. On a 9-up, subtract 2 from the attack characteristic instead to a minimum of 1. So before you used to put this on 2 different units, or like you could put 2 on the same one because of how twin casting worked, but they just said no, it's like you only ever pick 1 and you nerf it. That's fine. That's probably what you're doing most of the time anyway, right?
Yeah.
See those chosen with 3 attacks coming, you're gonna hit them. Or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So, always a good spell. Prison of Grief. This one changed a little bit. Range of 12, casting value 6, and you pick one enemy unit within, casting value 6. Pick one enemy unit within range invisible to the caster. Until your next hero phase, the strike last effects applies to that unit. On a 9-up, it's within 24 inches instead of within 12 inches. Which, that one's curious to me, because the twin cast might almost do nothing, so I feel like you'd want to put it on something close by to take advantage of being able to charge in.
But now you can affect like a different combat somewhere else, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah. So that one's just like icing, and like that might get you to do cool stuff, but strike last on a casting value 6. That's good enough for me.
Yeah.
And like I loved it in Night Hunt on a 7. And it was within 12 then too, yeah. This is great. It used to be like if they were next to it, you had to pick a terrain piece, and then you pick an enemy in range of the terrain piece. And then like on a 3-up, they can't move. So this is way cleaner.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I was about to ask if like you had to pick targets before you saw the value of the dice, but this one clearly makes that obvious that you don't.
Yeah, exactly. You don't, by the way, yeah. That was never the case, but like that's something that like a lot of people don't know off the top of their head.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. It's like, until it comes up, you're not, because like normally it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, like 90% of games.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And then
this one makes it very clear.
Yeah.
The way. Yeah. Anyway.
I like that. Yeah. And then Waste Away. Casting value 6, range of 18. Pick an enemy unit, subtract 1 from wound rolls, and 1 from the damage characteristic. And on a 9-up, you pick 2 things. So It's a little interesting that one specifically states you double team on the one guy, and this one specifically states you pick 2 different things.
I think they just wanted like the different design space for like which ones like did what and which ones they preferred to have be different and what have you.
Yeah, like the fact that they're all different, I think that makes it real cool.
Yeah.
But I can imagine a world where like all 5 of them were like, oh, just put the effect twice. And then the 6th one was like, oh, this one's picked 2 different ones for some reason. And that being annoying. But the fact that like each and every one is different.
Yeah.
Like that's cool.
I think that's good, yeah.
Yeah. But -1 damage, -1 to wound. That's one hell of a drug, man.
Yeah, no joke, huh?
Yeah. So good.
That spell's no joke.
Mm-hmm. So like
how much does that on average reduce the damage of something? That's a lot, right? Like
it depends on the unit itself.
Of course.
Obviously,
so you're only gonna cast it on something that has 2 damage, right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of like I mean even 1 damage stuff, like -1 to wound still like I think -8% damage on average.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's probably on something with 2 damage, like 40% reduced damage. And something with 3 damage, probably closer to like 20.
Well, I mean I guess it depends on where you're calculating it from. But it would have to be at least 50% reduced, right? If you're subtracting 1 from damage.
Well, I was just like considering the fact that like not all of them are going to land anyway. But I guess it would be like at least 50 then, right? No matter what.
It depends on how you're calculating, but yeah. I think based on the expected damage, if you take the expected damage output and you apply this to it, it's going to be less than half.
Yeah, fair.
The output, right?
Mm-hmm. And it's funny. This spell's been around since Legion of Nagash, like.
Really?
It's obviously not egregious, right? If you don't remember that. Yeah. It's very good, though.
What's the range on it? Is
18.
That maybe why? 18? 18 still? Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I've gotten hit by that and been like, that's brutal.
You definitely have, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the one I usually always bring. The problem is, it's like, only Necromancers and Mortarks could take it.
Oh, that makes a big difference, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but the better Mortarks get, the more you'll see them, the more you'll see this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just weren't always the competitive choice, but each book they get better and better, I'll tell you that. But yeah,
Find
overall,
that sweet spot, right?
yep, exactly. Overall, though, I like the Death Mage's lore. Like, you kept 3 very important spells. The vampire ones are at least fun.
Yeah, they're at least fine.
They're icing on the cake for whatever you're bringing anyway, in my opinion.
Those are the first ones, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Moving on. So, we have 5 legions. Neferata's Legion of Blood, Manfred's the Legion of Night. Then we have Virkos, Castellai, and Avangori. We'll start with Legion of Blood because that's what the document starts with, and it's, I think, my favorite one, actually, but we'll talk about it at the end like we always do.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so, unparalleled expertise. Basically, every vampire hero has, they're either bloodthirsty or empowered. So if they're in combat, they're bloodthirsty. If they're out of combat, they're empowered. If they're in combat, +1 attack. If they're out of combat, +1 to casting, dispelling, unbinding.
That's cool.
Really great stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, remember their little thing was like, oh, you can't be negatively modified to hit or wound. And that's gone, and it's just like, yeah, your vampires are better casters until they're in combat, and they're better at hitting. And it's worded right, too, so your Mortark can get affected by this, so, like, Neferata can get the +1 to cast.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it was always funny that you had, like, a rule to make your vampires better at casting that could not be put on her. So she was physically the weakest caster in her army.
That's so weird.
As the progenitor of the bloodline. So that's gone. And that's
so
wonderful.
are vampires the real battle mages and they actually do it right here?
Yeah. That's a great rule to start, by the way.
Yeah.
And then, like, the mounted vampires especially, like on the zombie dragon. Like, getting +1 attack all throughout that, too. Hits your mount.
Mm-hmm.
The way it's worded, it hits your mount, too, so.
Oh. Yeah, see? That thing we had a problem with last book of, like... Or every book, really.
Yeah.
It's like, does it or doesn't it? I don't know.
And I think we're on record that we think that's just the way the world should be.
It just make it one or the other. Just
yeah. And I just think it should always just be like it hits everything on the war scroll.
Yeah. I agree. That would be absolutely the simplest.
Yeah. That's my vote.
Yep.
Yeah, anyway. The Covenant of New Lamia. So these vampires are all about like subterfuge and scheming and like political advances. So they do that by giving them 2 new heroic actions. You can carry them out. I think some of them are specified to only be your turn. Let's see. At the start of the hero phase. Okay. So this legion you can do them on both turns.
Okay.
Yeah, premeditated bloodshed, which is until end of turn, this unit ignores ward rolls. So if you really need that thing with the big ward dead, just pop this. They don't have the ward when you're fighting them.
See, I like this. Like, this is the perfect spot for this ability, right? Like, when you put it on an artifact or something, it's like you're committing so much to it.
Yep.
But when it's almost incidental, like you were going to take this anyway, and now you have this, like, great toolbox ability to, like, just turn those off against the armies you need it.
Yep.
Feels good.
Oh, yeah, which is why, like, I really wanted to, like, the Demon Prince, too. Because it, like, is a heroic action. Yeah. That's the greatest place to put it. And, like, on top, like, yeah, in the Legions. And I like that it's not, like, every Soulblight has it, too. Like, you have to, like, make an army commitment to be Legion of Blood.
Yeah.
But it's also not the only thing you get, too.
Right, as long as it's, like, it's not, like, yeah, like, their thing. Like, it's just, like, an extra, you know, little treat, almost.
Yeah.
It makes it feel way better.
Exactly. And then, like, the matchup where this matters, you're going to be like, oh, well, yeah, brother, let's go.
It's like, man, I got something for you, and you're not gonna like it.
Yeah. And it's for attacks, too. So that's relevant, because your Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon, boy, does he have a breath weapon now.
Oh, yeah?
Will also benefit from this.
Alright.
Yep. Oh, actually, does the Bloodthirsty affect range 2? Add on to the attack characteristic of melee weapons. Okay, so yeah, he won't get the extra breath shot in melee, interestingly enough, but that's probably correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other heroic action, Immortal Majesty. You'll notice, like, if you played this book before, a lot of your command traits were moved into heroic actions, and then they're the same names, but they do slightly different things, which is funny. And this one is, you pick one vampire, or Legion of Blood vampire. Until the end of this turn, your opponent must spend 2 command points instead of 1 to issue all-out defense or inspiring presence to enemy units within 12 of this hero.
Oh.
That's quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enemy units within 12 inches of that hero. Okay, so it's like it's a very definitely limited range. But...
Yeah. You have to like commit at least to the part of the battlefield where you want like the carnage to happen and have the vampire hanging out there. You don't have to
commit that's
to
what
combat.
you're doing, right?
Yeah,
you're normally making a plan and like picking where you're going to be. So this is probably like a your turn thing for the most part.
And like I'm on record saying that I don't love how they did the Lumineth one. And my problem with it is not that like issuing 2 command points is not a thing I think should be in the game. I think it's a very healthy thing to have that kind of stacks effect. I just don't like that it's board wide, you know?
Yeah, it's just like all your stuff.
Yeah.
Forever and always.
And like 12-inch range, that's like a pretty decent commitment. And I think that's more fair too than like you just can't do it. Because I could see a version where they wrote the heroic action of like, oh, they can't issue all-out defense or inspiring presence within 12 of this hero, and you're like, oh, okay, I just rip this heroic action every time and I go to town, you know?
Right.
Which, like, I mean, there's going to be angles of that where that happens, but I don't know, like, I like these 2 a lot. I think that's a great place to play around with.
Yeah, I'm curious how often the second one will actually be used, if I'm being honest. Maybe it'll be used.
I feel like a lot, because, at least me, like, that's 100% guarantee that an effect's going to happen. Like, I'm just going to be able to, like, make you spend 2 points. I'm going to waste your command points. And then, like, compared to, oh, on a 4-up, I get a command point. Nah, I'm just taking, like, Warlord if I really need it. And then I'm just using this to make your life harder.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, it doesn't actually really guarantee anything. Because it still gives your opponent the choice, right?
Yeah.
But a bad choice is still a bad choice. So.
Fair. Yeah, the way I see it is, like, you can't, like, all-out attack, then all-out defense, too, right? So you, like, really have to pick. You can't, like, if you have, like, 2 points left, you're like, oh, do I go for the redeploy? Oh, if you do, you can't all-out defense, and all my shit that doesn't have a lot of rend in this book. Like, now can't all-out defense, you know?
Yeah.
So you're giving them, like, you're guaranteed shutting off something, is what it feels like to me.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Oh, no. Yeah. I'm not saying you are.
No, I'm not, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's why. I mean, like, at the end of the day, I haven't played this book yet. Nobody has. These are all hot takes when we do, like, new book reviews.
Oh, yeah.
Like, every single creator, right? So, like, I could totally be wrong. And I could be overvaluating this. But, you know?
Oh, I'm pretty sure I'm just playing devil's advocate for, like, using it all the time. Oh. That's all. Just to, you know, talk about it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Fair enough, yeah. And I think that's even good. But, like, I don't know. Do you think this is better, like, in most situations than the 4-up command point? I don't think it's better than, like, Finest Hour a lot, right? Like, if you really need something dead, they're going to know to just save the 2 points for the all-out defense. So you're not really stopping it there. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that was what I was thinking. Like, there might be a time where you just don't really have a hero near something that's going to definitely want all-out defense.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
And a lot of your combat heroes are monsters too, so they could just roar.
Yep.
But
you have that.
Me, it doesn't work. Stuff off. Yeah, I've gotten one roar off in my life.
Oh my god.
Which is funny, but like, you know, like, that's an anomaly. But yeah, I mean, like, yeah. I don't know, like, it seems good.
It's a very nice option to have. Like, I can see there's very obvious times where you're like, yep, that's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna suck for you a little bit here.
Yeah. It's spicy, at the very least.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Let's see. Command traits. Instruments of Neferata's will. That's fun. So, we have Tailored Downfall, Game Hunter, Doomed Minions. So, Tailored Downfall is after deployment, but before the first battle round. Pick one enemy hero. They have strike last if they're within 3 inches of the general. I see a world where that's powerful. I'm not huge on that, though. What do you think?
3 inches general.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's just it's very niche.
Like, it's obvious that they want you to, like, make your general, like, a giant vampire on, like, some sort of mega undead zombie dragon, right?
Yeah, and
That's,
go
like,
right after this
careening
guy.
in. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, problem is your opponent gets a say in this matter too. So
Yeah.
so
Especially when you have a spell that strike last.
yeah, it feels like it's not gonna work most times. Or it's easy enough to play around and like the ability is good, but like is it good enough that it's like worth just having this on a single target and that being your command trait? I don't know.
Yeah.
Guess it depends on what else is here.
I guess too, like, in a world where, like, your screen, and, like, maybe, like, this is what the value is, like, your screen is something like Graveguard, and, like, they have a big, like, killy monster as the hero you're afraid of, and then they just careen into your line, and they have strike last, and then you're just, like, fighting with your buffed up Graveguard, and then you just chop that thing to ribbons, right?
Honestly, that's true. Like, if it's more... Okay, so here's the problem, right? That sounds like an ideal situation for this. But what about... And it probably works great in that situation for dealing with that threat,
Yeah.
right?
How
First
your
off,
opponent
they
gonna fall
can
for that,
send
right?
it elsewhere, right?
Yeah.
And you have to be within... It has to be within 3, so, like...
Your
you have
general
to
has to
really
be the screen, too, even.
Yeah, you had to, like, really set that up perfectly, and that feels hard to do. I feels like 9 times out of 10 they'll be able to dodge the 3-inch bubble there.
Yeah, let me put it this way: like, your general is like a bloodthirster if I'm playing against you, right?
Sure.
And then I have if you charge the zombie dragon, you have strike last, and I have like the zombie dragon and the Graveguard there. And you're like, oh, that's like 600 points. This bloodthirster is gonna move somewhere else.
Yeah, it's like I will not go there. Yep, cool.
And like deterrent, like, yeah, rattlesnakes are very good. Like, what is it? Like, threat perceived is threat achieved. But at the same time, I don't know. That's a lot of setup too. Like having like 700 points of your army, just be like, come on, take it, man.
But then there's also the point of like that's like it's like that's where you actually want him to go though, the bloodthirster, because that's where your points are. That's where you can deal with him, right?
Yeah.
And so like, what are you really achieving? You're sending him elsewhere where maybe he should have gone anyway.
Yeah. And I guess the counterpoint is current season. A lot of the missions are like low objective count. Mm-hmm. So there might be a world where like, well, in order for me to win this game, my Mega Hammer General has to kill this and take the point.
Yep.
Right? But at that point, I think they're charging in with the rest of their army too, so.
Yeah, and it's just... Yeah, I don't know. I think this is too niche.
It seems too niche, but like at the same time, it does seem like it could surprise me. You know?
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I'm correct here. Where a lot of these, I'm like, oh, I'm absolutely correct. You know?
Yeah, I feel like this one needs a... I don't know. I'm not sold on this one.
If it was like a bigger range, yeah.
Yeah, if it was bigger range, then maybe.
Because like I think like this reminds me of the Slanesh one, where it's 6 inches and they have 1 attack. You know, like this isn't that good, and the range is half. You know.
Yeah.
So
you literally have to be in combat with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we saw from our friend the cockatrice, 6 inches and 3 inches is more than twice as good.
Yes, it very much is.
Yeah. All right. Next one. Game Hunter. After deployment for the first battle round, you pick one monster that is not a hero. The attack characteristic of that unit's melee weapons is 1, while that unit is within 3 inches of the general. How often do you see that unit type?
A monster that is not a hero?
Yes.
And so a monster is not a hero, and we had to pick this before we even know what we're playing against?
Yes.
Pass.
Pass. Yeah. And like again, like the last one I don't know. This one I'm very confident.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy. Pass. Goodbye.
Yeah. And then I think my favorite one of the three, Doomed Minions. After deployment, but before the first battle round begins, you pick D3 enemy units that are not heroes or monsters. Attacks made with melee weapons that target that unit score a hit on an unmodified 2-up while that unit is within 3 inches of the general. So you just pick D3 of their units, and then all of your shit, if it's like that thing's in combat with your general, you hit it on 2s.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like that one seems like,
I mean, you can at least control that, right?
Yeah.
Quite a bit more.
Yeah, because like the way I see it is like, oh, these are the things I need to delete. And my general's running up, and he's running there with his buddies.
Yeah.
And like Graveguard moved to like hit on a 4, so they're 4s 3s instead of 3s 4s. And then now they're going to be 2s 3s.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. I'm wondering if we're underestimating that first one a little bit now. Now I'm like thinking about it some more, but I really think it's just too specific of like an opponent you need for it to like really be good, right?
Yeah, and like the thing is too is like the thing I'm most afraid of, like 9 times out of 10, is like a thing of chosen, right? And I want like things to deal with their like massive hammer units.
Right.
And like this helps me with that. And like hitting on 2s on the book of like 4s and 5-ups, like that's a pretty big change.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And even going like from a 3-up to a 2-up on like. Alright, actually let me put it this way. Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon. The bites and the claws are still 4-ups. And you just picked the 3 most problematic things and now you're on 2-ups.
Yep.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That just seems good.
Joke.
Like, I don't know if Master of Magic is still just better. Which is the only, like, argument, right? To me, it's like this or Master of Magic. But I'm living here for a while, in my opinion.
Yeah, this seems pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think there's a thing of, like, if you need your opponent's list to help you make a thing good, it gets, like, way, way worse.
Yeah.
Unless, like, you're confident you're going to be seeing this thing.
Yeah. They're going to have D3 units, even if they're screens.
Right.
And if not, like, the insurance policy against screens. And like we saw with the Vampire Lords, like, they're not amazing.
Right.
They're just kind of cute, you know?
Yeah.
So you don't really need the Master. Yeah, this is, like, clearly the best one to me.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alright, Artifacts of Power. You're not going to believe what you see here. So, Amulet of Screams. Roll a dice each time an enemy unit within 18 inches of the bear casts a spell that is not unbound. On a 3-up, they take D3 mortal wounds after the spell resolves. It's not like pick an enemy unit or like once per game they do that. It's just on a 3-up, you take D3 mortal wounds. That's fine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's great. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It might happen sometimes.
Exactly. Let's see, what's next? Orb of Enchantment. Once per battle, you pick a hero within 3 inches of the bear, and on a 3-up, that hero cannot be picked to fight in that phase. This was an oldie, and this was like always pretty good.
It seems it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, you guys know how we feel about, probably at this point, about artifacts that are once per game that don't always work. But at least this one is, like, obscenely good.
Oh, it's on a 3-up?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I thought it just worked, and I'm like, oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's really, like, it's probably too good if it works, but again, like,
yeah,
balancing like, that on a 3-up is not the way to balance that effect.
No,
yeah. So, like, it's gonna see play because, like, the upside is way too good.
Yeah.
But, like, I wish they just... I don't know, like, would it have been, like, too bad?
Stop.
Yeah. Like, imagine a world where it's, like, once per game, you just give the enemy general strike last and -1 to hit or something like that, right?
Yeah, there's like I feel like there's so many, just better things you could have
Yeah,
done.
pick whatever, yeah, the way Vince would put it. Any
Just
way
make
that
it
fixes
happen.
it, just, yeah. There's
We
100,000 fixes, you could just do it, yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
good, but annoying.
Yeah, exactly. That's a nitpick, really, but that's how it's been since Legions of Nagash, so yeah. But they change stuff like that all the time, so
It's true.
that's just my critique of it, but it's fine. And then the one I'm living in, Cloak of Mist and Shadows. Ignore modifiers, positive and negative, to save rolls for attacks that target the bearer.
Oh, we got ethereal.
Ooh, the ethereal amulet is back, baby!
Wow.
Oh man, you missed that with the
Did I
zombie
miss it?
dragon? Yeah,
No,
I do.
not even a little bit.
Oh man, that was like one of my favorite things in this game in second edition. And like, I get why it's not your favorite thing.
Yeah,
I totally
because it was
get it.
freaking good.
Yeah, but it's just like, oh man, I loved that. And then like this zombie dragon, like just gets mulched up now, but like it does damage and then it gets mulched, and it's like, oh, that's sad. But here we
Oh,
are.
he's back.
Yeah, and like this whole book is like, oh, I want your general to be within combat, or this whole sub-faction is like, put your general in combat.
Yep.
You're like, oh, but
Okay, great. Here's an ethereal amulet.
but you'll die.
Let's go.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Here's your contingency plan.
So why did they print the rest of it? Well, I guess okay. Artifacts you can actually take a few of. So
Yeah.
if you
So you're
want
saying
to.
that's the one you always take?
Well, I mean, there's a pretty obvious build there, right?
Yeah.
I don't
It seems like an auto take, and then the other two are like, well, you want a lot of heroes, so you're gonna be in command entourage. So it's like, which other
Yeah.
one of these other two do you like?
Yeah.
And it's probably Amulet of Screams.
Yeah. Orb of Enchantment. What a generic name. I didn't even realize that.
Orb of Enchantment.
Yeah. That's just
Yeah.
like, wait, how is that not used somewhere else? That just feels
It's
like
the Orb of Stupidity from SpongeBob, right?
I don't know that one.
Ah, somebody in the
I
comments
know.
gonna get that. That's fine.
I know. I've watched a lot of SpongeBob, but that's not what I remember. I probably even saw it.
Yeah, it was they were like watching Aquaman's base, and like the villain got out, and it's just like an orb or the Orb of Confusion rather. And then they're just and he just like walks out while they stun him. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, off topic.
Yep. Very.
Great Legion. I think this one's my favorite, but there's one that's like a very close second, maybe first.
Cool.
But let's talk
Guess we'll
about
see.
Legion of Night. So, this was Manfred's Legion. It's very different than what it used to be. Like, you used to be able to set stuff off on board edges. But what it does is, like, once per turn during the enemy charge phase, after an enemy unit finishes a charge move, you can pick one friendly Legion of Night unit within 12 inches of that enemy unit, and more than 3 from enemy units. It can attempt to charge. So it's like the Mortis Praetorian. But I'm pretty sure the Mortis Praetorian is at the end of at the end of the charge phase, and this is just in response to a charge. You can then charge.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if that timing makes a huge difference in viability. That's something I'm going to need to experiment as I play these books, right?
Right, yeah.
We'll see. It's cute, at least.
Yeah.
And then we have a heroic action and a monstrous action. So I really like that design space of like, oh, what's this vampire dynasty about? Like, there's like the monstrous aspect and then the hut royalty aspect, you know?
Yeah.
And then like, as I bet you already guessed that Avangori just has 2 monstrous actions, right? Like the monster-based one,
sure.
yeah. But like, so it's just like there's a little bit of a monstrous tilt to Legion of Night, and that's great. So, what's the heroic action? It's the hero can be removed from the table and set up anywhere outside of 9 of enemy units.
Okay.
Yeah, he can't be in combat when he does this, though. Or he or she, rather, yep. Okay, but the hero can't be in combat. If it's out of combat, you can do this and teleport. And like, I feel like that's extremely powerful. Because then, at the end of the movement phase, you get to drop some skeletons or some direwolves or something on a 3-up, right? So your plans could backfire horribly with this, but it lets you push for things that you normally won't be able to in the other books.
Yeah, it's kind of like it lets you go for the Hail Mary if you're losing type of thing.
And like there's like no limitation on what and hero can do this, right? Yeah, so like the zombie dragon, for example, can be like the hero that you just teleport with this.
So now here's the $1 million question: Does this replace Manfred's teleport that he had?
Yes.
Okay.
And also,
so Manfred can no longer teleport out of combat?
Correct.
Okay.
He got some really cool stuff in exchange, though, so I'm excited to talk about him.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, also, you can't move after you do this. They remembered to put that clause in there.
Thank God.
Yep.
When they forget that, it's so annoying, because it's like, you guys did it again. Stop forgetting that.
Yeah, like, it's at the point,
gotta be there in, like, 2 days.
Yeah. And it's, like, at the point where it's like, I think they should just errata the core rules. Be like, if you get set up...
if something shows up that turn, it cannot move.
Yeah. Done.
Unless specified otherwise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. But regardless, very powerful role. Oh, another thing too is like you have like the buff spells from like your necromancer that are like a short range. You also have an artifact that says you can't move after, and this is the way to like reposition your wizard that can't move with that artifact. So that's really cool.
Okay.
Yeah, and like you can just manipulate spell ranges with your it's power. Like that's obviously powerful, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And very flavorful. Really like that. And then, what's the monster's action? Into the Jaws of Death. Pick one enemy unit within 6 inches of this unit that made a charge move in this phase, and roll 2d6. Add 3 if the roll... Or, add 3 to the roll if the enemy unit is within a half inch of this unit. So, pick an enemy unit within 6 that made a charge, roll 2d6. Add 3 if it's in combat. Or, within a half inch of you. So if it charged you. If the roll is greater to the unmodified charge for that charge roll for that charge move, this unit can attack with its pestilential breath or death shriek in that phase. It must target that enemy unit. So,
that's cool.
It's a Unleash Hell. And what I'm not sure of, and I'm going to say, I think yes, is I think you can Unleash Hell and then do this too.
Oh, because this is just a monstrous action, right?
Yeah. So you could just, like, volley something that charged into your lines.
Yeah. So the only thing I don't like about this is you have to, like, keep track of the charge rolls of anything that that your opponent charged into that you could want to do this on, right? Am I reading that right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so there's quite a lot of homework there. Because you'll also telegraph your intentions if you don't record it, right? Be like, oh, I don't want to do that one.
So you're, like, forced to just record every single one of them?
Yeah, kinda, right?
Yeah.
Especially in competitive play, like in casual, like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You'll figure it out. It'll be fine. But, like, in competitive play, it seems really annoying.
Yeah.
But, undoubtedly good.
Exactly, yeah.
Just, like, kind of annoying to...
It's a nitpick, but, like, it's valid.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's put it that way, yeah. I think it's valid, though. But it's a cool rule.
Yeah.
Like, the Death Streak didn't change, and the Pestilential Breath did. But, like, overall, like, they're not, like, world-breaking attacks. They're just, like, some good damage. You're probably not killing the thing that charged you, but you're chipping it.
Yeah, chipping it enough, and then...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if they're charging you, they probably don't have Strike Last, so...
Yep.
You know, they're probably still hitting you first, but...
Exactly. And this is the wrong Legion to give them Strike Last on the charge, right?
Oh, that's the other one, isn't it?
Yeah, like, Legion of Blood had that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it's the Royal Legion anyway. Yeah.
But, you know, like,
Fair point.
It's fine. The heroic action is obviously way strong, and this is just cute, you know? But, you know, I like it.
It'll come in handy.
Yeah.
It'll at least deter, like, if something's, like, low on health, it's like, well, I'm definitely not charging that, because it's gonna, like, double attack me.
Yeah. I guess another nitpick, too, is, like, it doesn't really help Manfred with anything. So you need a zombie dragon or Terrorgeist in your army.
Yeah, it's kind of forcing you, or else you don't get, like, all of your abilities, right?
Yeah. It feels like they just want you to bring a zombie dragon in this army every time.
Sure does. So far, both legions have that vibe. And I can't imagine that's going to change with a legion that's all about monsters very much.
Yeah, or the
So,
one that's about knights.
yeah.
All right, Virkos, you're our only hope.
Oh
But whatever, that thing rules. All right, let's talk
yeah,
about
it's fine.
enhancements. Rulers of the night. That's how you measure in the dark, Bill.
Rulers at
Yeah.
night.
So above suspicion. So during deployment, you just set them off to the side, and then you can deep strike them outside of 9.
Okay.
Yep. I mean, there's gonna be lists that really want that,
Yep.
and it's gonna be a very powerful tool for those specific lists. But I don't think it's an all-comer one.
Yeah, I agree.
This is one that existed in the old book too, and in Legion of the Gash, and I used it, but it's not a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because it kind of like positions you poorly in a lot of ways.
Yep.
Depending on where you're going, so you have to be like really careful with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Second command trait, the bait. This used to be the army's passive.
Oh.
So while this general's on the battlefield, add 1 to save rolls and ward rolls. That's the new part, and ward rolls for attacks that target friendly Legion of Night summonable units in the first battle round.
Oh. Yeah. All right. I'm glad they kind of did away with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that passive was just like 9 times out of 10 bad.
Yep.
A couple times it's good, right? Like it prevents the shooting before you can even do anything type of thing and helps and whatever. But
Yeah.
like against just like so many armies, it does absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Unless like, and it's funny because it feels like it's incentivizing you to do that alpha strike, and it does not give you the tools to do so whatsoever too.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. If you're in a world where you're like, oh, here's Zinch, here's Lumineth, here's Daughters of Cain. These are the only things I fight. Oh, and then maybe Ogres and Iron Jaws. Yeah. You're like, okay. I want to survive the alpha. Yeah.
I have a tool. But like but it's another one of those like relying on your opponent having something, right?
Yeah.
And then you go up against like the slowest army in the world.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, never mind. This is useless.
Exactly. And now you just have a really cool counter charge thing against them as your army passive, and then this is like a tool you can pivot into. But like it's a reasonable command trait too.
I'll be honest, I feel like it'll see zero play.
Okay.
I don't know. Like
Yeah.
did it ever do anything for you when it was the passive?
Against Iron Jaws? Yes. Against Lumineth? Yes. Against most other people? No.
Yeah. So I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Well, what's the last one? What else do we have?
The last one is the one that I'll be taking, Bill, and it's called Unbending Will. Models in friendly Legion of Night summonable units count as 2 models instead of 1 for the purpose of contesting objectives while they're wholly within 12 of the general.
So I'm never taking the bait over this, right?
I don't think so. Yeah.
No, literally never. Yeah. So when I was just like one one sentence away from being like obviously correct. All right, we got it. We got
there. Yeah, but like this is obviously good.
Yeah.
And like in a horde army too, so like it's not unreasonable to have like a unit of 40 or 60 zombies, right?
Right.
And you're like, this is double. And it's like a design space I wish they would use more, right? Like I really like expert conquerors as a concept. And maybe like 3 per model is way too much, but like 2? That's like reasonable.
Yeah. I think it's something that they are doing in 40K.
Yep.
With the objective
oh yeah, the objective count. Yeah. Great rule.
Like that because that's like so easy to just be like modify this by 1.
Yeah.
Right? Like so much design space there.
Yeah, and like this is a huge upgrade too as far as like immune to battle shock.
Yep.
Which what it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
like
a huge upgrade.
Powerful rule.
Yep.
Like the more I talk about this Legion, the more I'm like, damn, this one's really good too. You know?
It has some stinkers, but
yeah.
But overall, yeah. But it's not,
but like just the teleport heroic action, the counter charge, like you count as 2, like okay, we got real power here.
Yeah.
And then
like you can only count as 2 of like some places, but like
yeah,
that's okay.
Yep.
You can set that
And
up.
then if you need
it's
to
one of
cast
those-
2 somewhere else, you teleport because you have a Legion's ability that teleports you.
You're right.
Yeah, like okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is the. Yeah, that's actually really good.
Yeah. Let's see.
It's one of those things where it's like it once again comes down to. I think we should look for this because I think it's just like almost a universal truth. Like,
There's always just one good one.
well, no, I wasn't gonna say that. But it's like the good ones are almost always like, if you can control it, it's so much better, right? And they just like it's so many that are just like somewhat out of your control, and they're just the bad ones.
Yep.
Or the feels bad ones to run because it's like, oh, my friend is running this, and I'm gonna just absolutely wallop him with this thing, and man, I'm gonna feel so good about myself.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're not.
So we're gonna do an experiment for the next 3 legions. I'm gonna read all 3 of them.
Yep.
And then we're gonna pick the favorite one before we react to any of them, and then we will have more time for the war scrolls. Actually, we can do it on the artifacts here. Okay.
Great.
Shard of Night. Ignore negative modifiers to save rolls for attacks made with missile weapons that target the bearer. Again, if you're afraid of... Oh, shit. Okay, Character and Cloak. If the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with a melee weapon that targets the bearer is a 1, the attacking unit suffers 1 mortal wound after the attacks have been resolved. And then Morbag's Claw. In your hero phase, if the bearer is more than 3 from enemy units, you can say that it'll carve a sigil into the ground. If you do so, add 2 to casting roll for Legion of Night Wizards wholly within 12 inches of the bearer until your next hero phase. However, the bearer cannot make a normal move, run, retreat, or attempt to charge until your next hero phase. Which one do you like?
I guess it depends on how good the spells are for Morbag's Claw.
Yeah, so the Strike Last could be on casting value 4, basically.
Yep.
Or, I guess the War Scroll spells, right? Too. Which you don't have a ton of.
Okay, so, but that counts for, how good is Manfred's spell?
That's true. Yeah.
Is that one worth buffing?
His is it's not to bury late, it's like a mortal wound bomb.
Okay. Those usually aren't great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, sometimes they are. It depends. Well, depends. You didn't say Horde Clear, you said Mortal Wound Bomb. So yeah, actually, those are usually better.
Those are usually pretty good, yeah.
I mean, that one seems good, and then...
I like that one.
And you can build into it, right? It's another one of the, like, you have control over this, so you can decide how good it is.
Yeah.
For the most part. And then... I mean, the cloak seems really cool, too.
Yeah.
Especially, it's good... Well, it's cool, but it does require something that... it requires your opponent to make it. It's better against certain armies than others, so inherently it's worse.
Yeah.
Right, because it requires your opponent to have something like I was gonna say, it's like, oh, it's like really good against like something that has high volume of attacks, but like they're not great attacks, right? Really good there. It'll just tear those things apart, right?
But there's also an argument too of like they have chaff. And you can like multi-charge it and just like clear one out, and then the other thing fights you. And then you do like a mortal wound or 2. So like it's always doing like something. Like that's
it's probably always doing something.
It's not.
But I mean, there's plenty of relics that just say once per game do D3 mortal wounds, right?
Yeah.
And this is so much better than that. So like, I think there's play there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then the first one.
Ignore run to shooting. Yeah.
I don't know.
One opponent, you're gonna love it. Against.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like if it's the whole meta, yeah, sure. Obviously, there's a huge caveat with all this. Like, if this is all you're ever gonna see, and it totally makes sense, and it's everywhere, then yeah, of course, go for it. Yeah. But like, if like the meta has like, if 9 times out of 10 you're not gonna see a bunch of missile weapons, like this thing's junk.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's fair to say.
And like, I guess you could say, it's like, well, I gotta cover my only flaw. It's like, well, you probably don't have an over 50% win rate against absolutely everybody else. So
yeah,
it's probably still not. Yeah. Anyway, I think that was junk.
Yeah, I can see that. I probably wouldn't take it over the other 2.
Yeah,
Claw is interesting because I think you take it on like a dinky support hero.
Yeah,
like a necromancer, right? Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That's who that goes on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, what were you saying? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, just yeah. And
Okay.
I think it's one of those things where we'll say it's fine, but like no one's ever gonna run it, right?
Yeah.
I think realistically, like if it's just not gonna see play.
Yeah. Somebody's gonna run it, and it's gonna be the right call for them. But
Yeah,
in
like
90%
that one
of
time.
games, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Fair. All right. Also, another point about Shards of Night, real quick. The majority of threatening shooting is 6s on mortal wounds.
Yeah, so it does nothing for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, it actually really does nothing at all, does it?
Yeah, I guess
And,
like
like-
if you're fighting KO, or like that kind of army, you know?
Yeah, but we just picked one army out of like how many are
25,
there? There's
yep.
a lot. Yeah, 25. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm off of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to say. Let's see. And then, next Legion. Virkos Dynasty. So, what their passive is, well, this one like used to have an insane passive, but used to be reroll casts and your summonables get +1 to wound near your vampires.
Wow.
Now, would you like to guess what they do? They have a fight in tandem rule. So Soulblight hero can fight and then pick another Virkos unit to fight with wholly within 12. So,
Tandems are fine.
yeah. Which, like,
But like
go ahead.
they're not like super exciting though.
No. Yeah, I think interestingly enough too, and they put the designer note, I wanted to talk about this too, is you could pick another hero to fight in tandem. So you could have like Radikar and a Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon fighting in tandem.
That's
But
cool.
yeah, they also they put a designer note too that if you fight with a hero and then fight with a hero, you don't get to then fight with a hero again. Which is good, because that's how I first read it. I'm like, oh, does that just mean all your heroes have strike first, basically?
No.
Yeah, which obviously would be insane.
Yeah.
But they curtailed that. It's a fine passive.
Yeah.
Here's
fine.
the real power, though, is the heroic actions.
Alright.
Alright, I'm going to read them out of order, because I think it makes more sense this way. First one, Kin of the Wolf. Pick a vampire hero, and add 1 unit of 10 dire wolves to your army. And they must be set up wholly within 9 of the hero, and outside of 9 of enemies. They cannot move in the following movement phase. And you cannot carry out this heroic action more than once per battle.
Okay, so you get free dire wolves.
Unit of free dire wolves. The other heroic action, this one's super cool, is pick 1 Virkos vampire hero, then pick 1 Deadwalker unit wholly within 12, or not even wholly within, yeah, just within 12 of that hero, invisible to them. You can add D3 models to that unit. Designer note. This allows a friendly Virkos Deadwalkers unit to be taken above its maximum unit size.
What?
Yep. So
Is that another one of your third rail breaks?
a little bit. Zombies used to be able to do it, but it definitely is still like a third rail breaker. But so let's talk about what Deadwalker units we have, because you're going to see the problem here in a second.
Okay.
We have zombies, obviously.
Yeah.
Dire wolves are Deadwalkers, which is probably the main intent of this, because getting D3 of those back or added to the unit, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like that's powerful. Cursed City, Kostgari Night Guard, like the Radikar Bodyguard Ogres.
Mm-hmm.
Those are Deadwalkers, so you could get D3 of those back. Or added to the unit, yeah.
Added. Okay.
So,
that's a little harder to do all of a sudden.
Yeah, so that's like I don't even mind that, but like other than the fact that the kit only comes with a box of a bunch of heroes. So
right.
like
Yeah,
you have
exactly.
to buy all of them multiple times to do that. But if it was just like a normal kit, like that'd be great. That'd be a great reason to run them.
Yeah.
You want to know what else is a Deadwalker unit?
Let me guess, like a vampire on Zombie Dragon or some shit, or Terrorgeist or something.
Nope. It is a corpse cart, though. So you could just like pick a corpse cart unit and add D3 corpse carts to it right now.
What?
Obviously, this is going to get an FAQ to be on wounds 3 or less or something like that, right?
Something, yes.
Obviously. But you know what? Like, I
Because
have
it
3 corpse
specifically
cards right
says it
now.
can go above its maximum size. So even if it says single, it's like, well, no, you specifically said
Yeah.
it can go above single.
Yeah, rules as written, there's not a single question in my mind. Like, it obviously can return corpse cards, which is hilarious.
Dude, that's just like, can you do that every turn?
These
Oh, you
ones are only
cannot carry
your
out.
hero phase.
And only once
Interestingly.
per battle. You cannot carry out this heroic action more than once per battle. Okay.
The summoning one. But the one that adds D3 models, you can do every one of your turns.
You cannot carry out this heroic action more than once per battle?
On Kin of the Wolf.
Oh,
Remember I said I
that's
did
the other
opposite
one.
order?
Oh,
Yeah.
you did them out of order.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, Corpse Cart City. What the heck?
Yeah, so I need to get 7 more of these, huh?
No. That's going to get errated in the first week. It has to.
I wanted to really mention that because I want people to, like, know, A, right now you can do that. B, you're probably not going to be. So I just want to save you some bucks. But if you have a 3D printer and you're ready to go and you just want to abuse the fuck out of this.
You just want to troll around for a second?
Yeah, because, like, I'll be honest, Bill, I want to do that once.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Like, I have 3
Yeah.
corpse cards. I would just want to roll a 2, and I just want to add it. And I just
You
want
got
to point. Huh?
You got 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm probably playing this weekend, so I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, there you go.
And
Yeah.
I'm gonna laugh about it.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna be done with it.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Wait, no. You have 3? You need way more than 3.
That's fair.
Just so you know.
Yep. I'll proxy some bases or something, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. just keep it going. Just be like, oh, I rolled the 3. There's 3 more corpse cards. All right.
And I know
big, guys.
somebody in the comments is gonna argue that, like, oh, but they don't do anything. Like, they're just like 8 wounds with a 6-up save and like 2 attacks.
So wait, you used a heroic action to get 16 wounds on average to your army?
Yeah, that's great.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's too much. Like, that's obviously going to get FAQ'd, but it's so funny.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Let's talk about it like in its reasonable state, though. Just
let's assume that it's normal.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So getting like 4 wounds back is pretty reasonable too, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, that seems very good, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like even at normal, like, not stupid levels.
Yeah, like that's army defining, or at least Veer cost defining. I mean.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, it's super good still.
Yeah, like the passive sucks compared to the other ones. Like, there's no denying that.
Yeah.
But like, if you just like take this army as like, oh, I get to get a free 130-point unit, and then I get to make it bigger, like that's still very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Let's see what toys they got. With the command traits and artifacts of power. So, I need to point this out right now, and this is a third rail I actually really don't like.
Okay.
Veercost General only, parentheses, including unique Veercost units. And for the trophies, Veercost Heroes only, parentheses, including unique Veercost units. So
okay.
Your named characters can take these. And the reason why I think that's the case is because I think they want people to play the Cursed City army and then be able to use the stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I do get it because like I feel like that's like a huge amount of this army. Like in the the lore for it, they're like all unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I get it. I don't like it though. And I don't have to, but
yeah, it's weird.
My counterpoint to that though is I think the way to do that is put a War Scroll battalion in this army. That's just the Cursed City stuff, and make it that army's passive. So you're not like doing this with like a regular like. If I play this and I just play Belladama, she can just get an artifact now, right? Or like Radiker, like.
That's what they're saying. Yeah,
and
I think that's even what they're intending.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and I don't like that. And like another way you could do it is put it on like a Cursed City keyword, but then it's like, oh, then only some of the Veercost named characters can do it, and that's like way more annoying in my mind.
Yeah, that would be very annoying.
So like I don't know. I'll be honest. At the end of the day, it's like a whatever thing. Like I don't think it's like aerial braking as like holding objectives from 9 inches away as a random example, right?
Yeah.
But I
It's
I
not your
don't I don't
fault.
want this to be in more places.
Yeah.
Or if it is, I want it to be just like the game. Like
Right. Yeah,
this is
you
just
could just
something
do
everyone
that.
can
That's the
do.
point. Yeah.
Which I honestly like. Do you hate that? Because I kind of like that.
I mean, I understand why they don't, but like, and it makes it harder to balance.
Yeah, for sure.
But so I can understand why they don't. But like, if they did it right, it could be cool.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I wanted to say about that. But it's a nitpick, but I don't like it. All right, what are our command traits? So we'll do this again. I'll read them all. We pick the best one.
Yep.
Driven by Death Stench. Reroll charges for Veer cost units within 9 of the general. Not wholly within 9 of the general. Okay.
Okay.
Hunter's Snare. For the purpose of contesting objectives, this general counts as a number of models equal to their wound characteristic. And then Spore Trackers. At the start of your hero phase, friendly Virkos Deadwalker units wholly within 9 inches of the general can make a normal move of up to 3 inches. Which one do you like?
Middle one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The general counts.
Yeah, as a number of wounds equal to their wounds characteristics. It's not even like the wounds remaining. It's characteristics, so it doesn't degrade. So like, how many wounds does like Radikar have or whatever?
I think he's 12.
Yeah,
But Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon 16. So.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Put his little toe on. Yeah. That one's like obviously good to me.
Yeah.
That
one's so good.
I actually do think all 3 of them are good.
Yeah. None of them struck me as like obviously a bad one, but that one just struck me as like
Obviously very good.
whoa. Hold up here.
And let's see. I think Direwolves move 10, zombies move 3. So just like being able to move your whole army. I wish they just said +3 to move though, so you don't have to like move the army then move the army.
Yeah,
I don't know why they worded it like that. That's just a nitpick, but like it just
you
took a lot of time.
You could be like at the start of your hero phase. Yeah, like what happened? Okay, so maybe what they're trying. Actually, the one thing that this does do that's a little different than that is you can get stuff. You can get units in range for buffs that wouldn't otherwise be in range.
Fair, yeah.
Like spells or something.
Mm-hmm.
So a little something there, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, this won't let you be able to retreat out of combat, which would make it insane, I think.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. Honestly, like this one's like pick to your flavor. I think Hunter Snare is the strongest one, personally. But Spore Trackers might actually be the strongest one. I don't know. But driven by
I think Hunter Snare is the easiest one to play.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
Right. Like yeah, I don't know. Like you had to be really good to use like the other one.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. That's my opinion.
Artifacts of Power. Ulfenkarni Phylactery, Terminus Cloak, Standard of Ulfenkarn. So the Phylactery is you add 1 to ward rolls for summonable units that are wholly within 9 of the bearer. Terminus Cloak. Start the enemy hero phase, you can say that the bearer will stop the Terminus Cloak. If you do so, roll a dice on a 3-up until the end of that charge phase. Subtract 1 from casting rolls for enemy wizards, and then Standard of Ulfenkarn. If the bearer is on the battlefield, you can roll a dice each time your opponent spends a command point. On a 4-up, you receive 1 extra command point. Which, not Terminus Cloak, are the ones that you're taking?
Oh, the Phylactery seems really good.
Phylactery fucking rules. Like 5-up ward.
Wow. Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
9 inches is pretty restrictive, to be fair. But, like, I don't know. Like, it just seems like even if it's just
wholly within 9 inches of the bear. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. It sounds like you just protect one thing.
Yeah.
But your one thing could be 60 zombies on a 5-up ward. Like, okay.
Or Graveguard.
Or Graveguard, yeah, like...
Yeah. Like, you just kind of keep it with the... It's just like it's like adding a buff piece to, like, to a key unit, right?
Yeah. And I want to point out here, as I think it's absolutely the right call to not just make it a 5-up within 9 inches, like, it's limited to summoning. Which are, like, your crappy, like, 5-up save units at best.
Yeah, so you're not like giving to like Vampire Lord, Zombie Dragon, and stuff like that.
Yeah, because like if there's a world that's incentivizing heroes to strike in tandem, you just have like Radikar and the Zombie Dragon just charging in and just like laying waste, and then you're trying to hit them back both on a 5-up board, and that's fucking gross.
And that, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm glad that's not the case, but I just wanted to point that out. But still, like, protecting like a key summonable unit is pretty good. Or just making an anvil, which is the intent, yeah. Terminus Clock is obviously terrible. Because on a 3-up, and you don't even get to do a very cool thing. Once per game on a 3-up, -1 to cast. Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the
standard. Like, what were they scared of on that ability? Like, why? Or is this just like, or is that just like? I'm sorry, I gotta stop here for a second. Like, did they just like have like this really cool idea for like this terminus clock? It's a clock, right?
Yeah.
Not a cloak.
I kept saying cloak, but it's totally clock. You're right.
Yeah. So this terminus clock, they tried like they were like, this thing is gonna be so cool. Like, look at the lore of this thing. It's so neat. And then they like tried so hard to put like a rule to it that fit, and they came up with something dumb. Like, is that what happened here?
Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like it could just say enemy wizards have -1 to cast, and priests have like -1 to chant, just for the game. And I'm like, I don't even know. I think it's still the 3rd best one here. You know?
Yeah, like, and they like made it so insanely worse than that. It's ridiculous. Like, yeah, like maybe that would be too good. Maybe you take that all the time, but like, like, I don't know. It's just,
I feel like
it's just wild to me.
It was just played way too safe for no reason.
Yeah,
and I feel like if it had to be once per game on a 3-up, the effect should be they roll 1 dice when they cast,
or they just like, I don't know, can't cast.
Oh, and just totally shut it off.
Yeah, I mean, that completely kills some armies, so that's not a good idea. Yeah. But, like, I don't know. Or, like wizards in the opposing army get less casts or something. I don't know. There's gotta be something that they could do that's better than this.
Or you just have a 3d6 unbind for the turn.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
That's actually really cool, actually. Yeah.
That would be an awesome one, yeah.
Alright, yeah, I figured it out.
Yeah, it's just something.
Do better. And then I want to point out Standard of Ulfenkarn, because I feel like you're not... Like, you're obviously going to be adding D3 units to a summonable every turn, instead of trying to get the command point on your turn. So, like, whenever your opponent spends one on a 4-up, you get one. Like, you're just, like, padding against that. And then in addition, you could just, like, scale exponentially upwards with that, too. Right? Like, that's obviously very good.
Yeah, I think, that one seems very good.
Yeah. So, like, I want to be a command entourage every time I play this Virkos Dynasty, and I want both of those.
Like, honestly, that one might be better.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. That one might just be the
play. I think that one's just...
I don't know.
That might be the first pick.
Yeah.
But my point is that if I'm playing this, I'm taking both.
Yeah, probably.
Like, I'm moving heaven and earth to do it.
Well, the first one might not be good enough to move heaven and earth for. Now that I'm kind of thinking about it a little more. Second one seems like you spend command points all the time. Like, that's a lot of extra command points.
There's a certain army that came out that has a lot of them, too.
Oh, can you imagine going up against that? Like here's the thing. Like, it's always good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then against that, it's just like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. And that's why they didn't do it before, Alex.
Yeah. Overall, like, I think Legion of Night is very tricky, very powerful. Legion of Blood, your heroes are the best. This one just seems like raw unit power to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is cool. So far, 3 for 3. Fucking awesome, guys.
Yeah.
Alright, Cast a Lie. What do we get here? So, at the end of the combat phase, if any models were slain by attacks made with melee weapons by friendly Cast a Lie vampire units in that phase, you can pick one of the relevant abilities. So basically, they have a quest. And if they kill a hero or monster, they get 1 damage for the rest of the game. All your vampires, so including Blood Knights and the Esker and True Blood that I was painting yesterday. Yeah, so vampires in general. Kill a hero or monster, +1 damage. They kill a model with 3 or more wounds that was not a hero or monster. Add 1 to the attack characteristics, excluding mounts. And excluding mounts for damage too. Yeah. And if a model has a wound characteristic of 2 or less, you add 1 to the speed.
Now, is this for every one they kill, or just the first one?
Just the first.
Okay. Interesting. So you, like, really don't want to hit the screen.
Yep. It's a reasonable effect.
Oh, wait, no. Cannot gain the same ability more than once per battle.
Oh, I see what you mean. I thought that's what you meant. Yeah.
Oh, no.
So you can get one of each of these. I thought you were just like, oh. I was like, no, you can't, like, kill a hero, kill a hero, kill a hero. Oh, it's 6 damage. What are you going to do, motherfucker? No.
Yeah. No. But you can gain all of them.
Yes, that's okay. I understand what you mean now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No problem.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that seems really cool.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, I mean, it incentivizes having one death ball unit, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's who you're going in with. You're going to try to kill everything in sight and buff it to the 9s and just murder stuff.
We'll talk about the Escarga and True Blades when we get there. I think they're a pretty good anvil that can benefit from this. And I just think Blood Knights are the main thing that you want from this.
Probably, yeah. So who in the lore is the Castelli? Like, I don't even know.
Oh, so they're Prince Vordry's army. And their whole thing is like martial prowess and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I should have done too? You get bonus battle line on some of these armies. I forgot to mention that entirely. So I'll mention it now. You get Blood Knights as battle line here too.
Oh, okay.
So that rules. Yeah, but yeah, anyway. So like their whole thing is about like studying military and becoming like a military mastermind.
Sure.
Virkos, they don't get any special battle line. Legion of Blood gets Black Knights, which are like the skeletons on horses. Legion of Night gets Vargeist and Feldats.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Are Feldats still like an amazing screen like they were?
Yep.
Excellent.
They're actually exactly the same except for one word.
Oh, great.
Which is really funny. We'll talk about it when we get there. Or one number, that's more accurate. Alright, let's get back to this. Sorry about that. What do we have for heroic action and monstrous action? So, Master of Retaliation. So, pick one friendly Castelli vampire. Until the end of the turn, at the end of each phase, if any wounds or mortal wounds were allocated to that hero in that phase, and that hero is not slayed, roll a dice for each enemy unit within 3 inches of that hero. On a 2-up, they suffered D3 mortal wounds. So, what do you think of that?
That was a lot of words, is what I think of that.
Okay.
Hang on.
So, end of any phase you take damage, you have a chance to hit everything around you for D3.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah, and I like because I feel like they put this on a command trait a lot, and you're like, as a command trait, I sleep. But it's like a heroic action. You're like, oh, on a 4-up, I get a command point, or I just like, I'm in combat, and you want to shoot me off the board. Why don't I just do this? And I'm holding your units hostage. You hit me with spells, I'm hitting them. You hit me with with bows, I'm hitting them. You hit me in combat, I'm hitting them. But
yeah, you need to. This book super incentivizes you to take a Vampire Lord and Zombie Dragon, doesn't it?
That's what it feels like, right?
Yeah, because here's like another one where it's like, yeah, that's who this goes on, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Because you're probably not killing that in one shot.
Yeah. And like, luckily, like their leader is Prince Vordry, who is like the name version of that.
Right.
So at least like
it checks out.
It's a different unit. Yeah, and it should.
Yeah.
If any of them should, it should be this one.
Yeah.
Right, but yeah. But all of them so far, it feels like you just take one.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for like maybe Virkos.
Yeah,
but
maybe
then, like Hunter Snare. That rules.
Yeah.
Like it feels like the rest of them, like it's probably the best thing you can do. In Virkos, you don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have to, but you still could. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. which I don't have a problem with because it's like I love it, but I get it. I get it's annoying
Yeah.
of a book to be designed of like with this one unit in mind everywhere.
It feels like it,
Yeah.
but maybe that's I don't know. Yeah.
But overall, that's a fine heroic action. It's nothing like
Yep.
Legion of Bloods or Knights, but like it's cute. It's fun.
I
It'll
mean,
do
if you're
something.
just it just seems like you're careening your vampire lord and zombie dragon into something, and then they're like, "I hit it back, I guess," and you're like, "Haha,
Yeah.
smash."
Stop hitting yourself.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. And then the monstrous action, Battle Craze. It's just add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by this unit in the next combat.
Oh,
Greater Stomp.
okay.
That rules. Prince Vordry loves this.
I was gonna say, does a vampire lord and zombie dragon love this too?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. Okay, we figured this one out. Got it.
Yeah. That's the thing you run. You do that with your
Yep.
Blood Knights. Also, if the zombie dragon kills a hero, he adds 1 damage to his melee weapons, excluding mounts. If he kills a 3 or more, he adds 1 to his attack characteristic. You know, like that
Yeah.
passive works on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Wild.
Command
Okay.
traits. So reroll charges within 12, or once per turn, if this general's on the battlefield and a Castellet vampire unit gains an ability with the Mites of the Crimson Keep subfaction ability, this general has not already gained. The general gains that same ability, so he just siphons the power of his little underlings. And then the third one is you can have a unit of Blood Knights set off in reserve to one side. Oh, actually, you can do it with all your Blood Knights. Yeah, so this lets you. Yeah, the last command trait lets you put Blood Knights into reserve.
Oh, let's go. Normal.
Yeah, and then Deep Strike
Oh,
outside
wholly
of
within
table edge.
six of the battle edge. Okay.
Yeah.
More than 9 from enemy units. Okay. Did they mess it up? End of movement phase. No. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you're seeing if they can still like move or whatever after that.
Yeah, they just like wildly messed it up, like
Yeah.
they always do, and we need an FAQ. Nope.
Which one do you like?
I guess they're.
All right, I'll start. I think I like Shift and Keep because I just think the option to hide them or not, like it highly incentivizes you to run a bunch of Blood Knights, but
like you probably were doing that anyway.
Yeah, like the reroll charges is kind of fun, and I think the Undead Blade Lord as the you siphon the power. I'm not sure. That one might be good too. Of just like you just always have 2 units with that. Like they all seem reasonable to me, right?
Yeah. I feel like the reroll charge bubble is the hardest one to get the most use out of.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of times what happens is you're like getting them so close that it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Because you're putting it on a fast unit that can just kind of get there.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes it less effective, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I wrong in that? Like that's what it always seems like for me when I try to run like these kinds of things.
Yeah, like you have to tether them within range to make it effective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like, yeah, it's like really easy to like outrun.
You know what
like,
my point was going to be about it too? Is like
What's that?
This is like a 12-inch move and like a 14-inch move thing, right? So, like the best way to run this, I think, is like a vampire on the zombie dragon with his retinue of Blood Knights, and you just move up, and then you make sure you're in. But if it's like 12-inch movement, like you're fast, so you're probably going to be like within 7 or 6 away, right?
Yeah.
And then like you're probably not going to need to reroll both of them statistically.
Right, and so you just have a command point to reroll the one you need.
Yeah, exactly.
Opposed to spending your command trait to do this. Yeah, that's kind of what I always figure on think about it. Like you got to figure the like what are the chances you don't have the command point and you want to reroll like or you want to reroll both. Like the chances are pretty. I never feel like the math's there for these.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But like I just think deep striking is probably the best one. but I'm ready to be proven wrong at any moment that you want Undead Blade Lord to share the spoils of victory.
Yeah, like I don't know how easy that that's a little hard to like conceptualize how easy that is going to be to get, like the good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like the ones you really want. So like, yeah, I'm ready to say that I think the Deep Strike is the best too, but just like I'm ready to like the other one, right?
Yeah.
Like conceptually, I like that one way more than the Deep Strike personally.
I think it's a rewarding game experience, right? Which is
Yeah,
balances in everything, right? Like
yeah,
if you're just having a time with your bros, you're gonna have a lot of fun playing that one.
yeah. I think
Two,
so.
it might be the best one anyway.
Yeah, it might actually be the best one. Yeah,
Yep. So I don't know.
I agree.
All right, artifacts. Some of these are real good, I think. So, Gravesand Shard. Once per battle, at the end of the Battle Shock phase, you can return one Castelli model to one slain model to each friendly castable summonable unit wholly within 18 inches of the bear. I don't know why that was so hard. Holy shit. Okay. Each summonable unit, get one back. Fragment of the Keep. Subtract wounds. Subtract one from wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by enemy units within 3 inches of the bearer. In the red casket, add 3 to run and charge rolls for the bearer. I'll spoil the lead here. You don't have a run and charge unit in this book.
Oh. Well,
Or you
sucks.
do, but it's not Castelli.
Oh, okay. So you don't have like something that
wombo
would
combo.
super benefit from that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Adding 3 charges is not bad, but like once per battle round, return one slayed model to each within that's the play, right?
You think so?
think.
Because it's like
Turn
a
one
zombie
roll
or a
next.
graveyard. You're not getting a Blood Knight back. 'Cause they're
Oh,
not
it's summonable. It's summonable. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
never mind. I was thinking I was getting Blood Knights back in my head. And I
Yeah.
was like, that seems great. And then no.
Yeah, I love this. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
I think that's what I did in my head too at first, but I mean it's still good. You're
Yeah.
just like surrounded by direwolves. You pop one back up each. You're cool.
Yeah.
I
But
think,
is it like really like where you're spending your points? Like,
I guess it depends, right?
yeah.
I think Fragment of the Keep is like the obvious winner here. Because like I have this artifact in Night Haunt, and it's my best artifact, and it's not even close, you know?
Yeah, and they don't even have to be attacking you.
Yeah, and I put it on a thing that like needs to be in combat to get its value. Like again, Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon. He runs in.
Right.
Yeah, he's going to Slap City here. And
Yep.
you have -1 to wound him back. Yeah.
Yep. No. I think that's the winner.
Yeah, I think that's the winner. I think the red casket's also very good, too.
Mm.
And people are going to
Yes.
tell you that speed wins games, and you're right.
You're right. Yeah. And you want that Vampire on Zombie Dragon in there, right? So here you go. Give him the red casket.
Yeah, and I'm ready for that one to be the best one too. But
Now,
in my
question for you.
Yeah.
Does he bring the red casket with him, or did he just get out of the red casket?
Oh.
Like he just like woke up in the morning in a red casket, and he's like, "Man, I'm
ready to charge,
Fort
baby.
Boy now."
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't know.
That's so funny.
What's the
actually.
lore there?
I like the idea that it's like a casket that he sleeps in that gives him power. But you know what? Like you could just put like a crypt shield that's like a tomb lid, like a coffin lid, right?
Oh yeah, okay.
And that could be awesome, yeah.
I like the idea that he literally just straps the whole damn casket to his dragon, and that just for some reason makes it faster.
Yeah, you know. Oh, that's actually funny too.
This gigantic.
He
bulky
sleeps in the
thing.
casket, and this dragon he controls is faster.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right. That's silly. But like strapping it onto the bed, like if you take the foot vampire because you're empathic glory or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
It's
Just
like,
strapping the casket to
this
him.
gigantic casket to my back, and now I'm gonna bolt so fast.
Oh,
Look out, guys.
that's a kit bash I want to do now.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that shit sounds so funny.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that sounds cool for like the White King too. Just put the casket on his back. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, it's not limited. It's not even limited to
Vampire.
to vampires. So it's like, what the heck is this gonna do for?
Oh, put it on a necromancer. Nobody's doing anything with that.
Yep.
That's so funny. Okay.
Oh god, can you imagine?
Yeah. But yeah, he's probably sleeping at home in his casket, but I like the idea of it tied to his back.
Yep, me too.
Or it's like a necklace trinket for the zombie dragon.
Yeah, yeah, it's just hanging off his neck.
He's like, alright, dragon, I'm going to sleep. Like, you need anything before I go? No? Alright. And he just, like, hangs around his neck. He's like, don't run too fast while I'm sleeping, buddy.
I know you feel the urge, but please don't.
Yeah. Alright. Overall, like, this one's fine. Like, this Bloodline's cool.
Yeah.
Like, I think there'll be fun play here. It's not the highest one in my mind.
Doing.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, and then Avangori. This is the least played one before. Will it still be the least played one? Let's talk about
Let's
it.
find out.
Yeah. Oh, I'm scrolling up. Oops. Cursed Abomination. Once per turn, at the start of the combat phase, you can pick one Avangori monster within 3 inches of any enemy units. It fights at its top bracket, regardless of how much damage it's taken. Fine. That's cool.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then you have 2 monstrous actions, Titans of the Grave. Alright, let's see. Maddening Hunger. This will remind you of somebody, a dear friend even. Pick up to D3 enemy units within 1 inch of this unit and roll a dice. Roll separately for each model. If the roll is greater than that model's wound characteristic, it is slain.
Oh, okay, so it's like an eating ability.
Yep.
Oh, okay. That's really sweet.
Yeah. And then this one's really weird. So, until the end of the following combat phase, the first time a different friendly Avangori unit within 6 inches of this unit is destroyed, this unit can immediately fight after the last slain model and that unit is destroyed and removed from play.
What is within 6 inches? Should immediately fight. The first time a different. So this can let it fight again?
So this is like, you can get 2 combats with a guy, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
But you have to pick another unit that has to die for you to get the combat.
So you're basically putting it in the decision in your opponent's court.
Yeah.
But it's a monstrous action. So it's like, well, yeah, if I need it, sure, great.
Yeah.
So the things I didn't vocalize there that are important are it's like if you like have a unit that you really want to keep, you really for some reason want to keep alive. It's like yeah, go ahead and do it. I'm going to double combat you if you do.
Yeah.
Right. It's like putting like a really awful choice on your opponent, or like if they really want to kill that thing or not. Right. Otherwise, they basically have to fight this thing.
Mm-hmm. And it's actually interesting that it's within 6 inches too, for like another war scroll later, especially. But the most value I see out of this is like there's 2 Terrorgeists or 2 zombie dragons or like whatever 2 monsters you have, and one of them is almost dead. And you just pick the thing that's not almost dead to have this. And you're like, well, if you take that low-hanging fruit, I'm going to actually just kill you now. Like, I don't know. This seems so hard to use, right?
Yeah.
But, like, I can't even complain about it because the ceiling seems so high.
Yeah, because, like... Yeah, I don't know. This one's a really weird one. I think you gotta play it to, like, really see, like, what it's gonna do, right?
And, like, I don't know how easy the world is of, like, I charge a Terrorgeist and a skeleton in, and I use this. You're probably just gonna go after the Terrorgeist then, right?
Right, yeah, that's exactly it, right?
But is that fine because you're like, oh, I have 10 skeletons and the Terrorgeist on the point. I don't want you to take it.
Right, yeah, that's what.
And
yeah,
then if you kill the skeletons, I just maybe kill you, and then you don't take the point anyway.
Yeah,
and then I return the skeletons.
Super just incentivizing them from attacking the skeletons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the design space a lot. I don't know how actually good it is.
Yeah, it's very difficult to gauge. I feel like it takes like a high skill ceiling to use this at all, even. Right.
Well, I do like that.
Yeah. No, I don't. Yeah, it's weird, but yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let's see. Command traits. Monstrous Might. Subtract 1 from wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons that target Avangori monsters wholly within 12 of the general. Torment-driven throws. At the start of the combat phase, you can roll a dice for each enemy unit within 3 inches of the general. On a 5-up, that wounded unit suffers 1 mortal wound, and the strike last effect applies to them until the end of that turn. Or you can pick Unhinged Rampager. Reroll charges for the general. In addition, the end of the shooting phase, if any wounds or mortal wounds were allocated to the general in that phase, and it's more than 9 inches from enemy units, it can move d6.
Alright, you go first. I need to reread them. Hang on.
I think a 12-inch bubble of -1 to wound is probably where I'm living.
Yeah, that seems...
Yeah, I like -1 to wound, yeah. There's a lot of like wounding on 4s too with like chaff stuff, so that just makes it so you don't get wounded.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, 5-up, like being able to give multiple things strike last. Like obviously that's super good, but you can't count on that one in my summation.
Yeah.
And then the last one I don't care about. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you.
Okay. Artifacts of Power. Alright. Oh boy. Breath of the Void Moth. Once per battle, the start of the combat phase, pick an enemy unit within 6. On a 1, nothing happens. On a 2-up, they suffer that many mortal wounds. Gorvar's Collar. Once per battle, at the start of the combat phase, you can say that they will don the collar. They get strike first. Once per battle, at the start of the charge phase, you say the bearer will unleash the Fury of the Crown. If you do so, after the bearer makes a charge move, you can pick 1 enemy unit within 1 inch and roll a number of dice equal to the charge roll for that charge move. For each 4-up, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound.
At the start of the charge phase, you can say that?
Yes.
And then you have to roll your charge roll, and then it's a...
And then you get 1 Stonehorn charge.
And you can fail it?
Yep.
Oof.
So, which relic are you taking? I'm taking Vial of Manticore Venom, which is +1 to wound on one of the weapons. From the core rules.
Probably.
Yeah.
These are awful.
Gorvar's Collar, like, once per turn strike first is probably the best one here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then just like...
Honestly, the first one isn't, like, the worst. It can do nothing, though. But, like...
I have a question.
Mortal wound output, right?
Did the first and third one need to be once per game at all?
The first one, I think so. I think that'd be too good if it wasn't once per game.
That's just Lady Olander's attack.
Yeah, but you're giving like a full nother attack profile basically to something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that seems like based on the average mortal wound output you get out of like artifacts, right? Based on other books, like that would be a lot. Like that would be an auto take if that was. I think you take that every time.
Okay, fine.
Right? Because you can even sit back on that one, and you're just absolutely just like at the start of the combat phase.
Yeah,
like, you still have to tone it down quite a bit because you just be like busting out like an average of 3.5. Like what? It's not quite 3.5 because you fail on ones, but like pretty close to 3.5 mortal wounds to things. Just like bam, 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 bam every turn. That seems really good.
Okay.
That's even why I'm thinking like maybe there's even like a time where you want to run it, like you can like randomly finish off like a Galatian champion or whatever that's sitting just chilling on a point that you can like do a little bit of damage to, and then you can just like finish it off with this thing.
Or even like killing 2 to 3 of like a tough unit. That's probably good. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I think it's not like super embarrassing, although I'm still annoyed by it. But
yeah,
because it can fail. But actually, was it really that bad to just get 1 mortal wound? Like, do they really have to be like
That's what I wanted to say too. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's just annoying.
Yeah.
Why'd you do that?
I agree. Actually, I like Gorvar's Collar because I think Strike First is just super good, and that's a fair once per game thing. But like, I feel like
I agree.
Taking both of those is not bad. the third one, like Furious Crown, that should have just been what it does, you know? You don't need to do that once per game. Like, that's an army's passive. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That seems ham-fisted, just make sure they're all once per game.
Yeah. Like, maybe it'd be too good if it was all the time, but, like, at the same time, like, you're gonna tone it down a little bit in a different way.
What if you just, like, made it once per game 3d6 charge? Now I'm in, you know?
Yeah. It's better, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I really need to get this charge.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like,
here we go.
right,
Okay. Yep.
3d6, and then you can spend a command point to reroll if you still fail, and you're, like, very likely to succeed. Great.
Yeah. I think the playability on this one depends on how good the monsters are, right? Overall.
Yeah.
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 I don't think there's enough information here.
Yep.
All right, can we do the War Scrolls in an hour? We're gonna have to go fast.
Well, I need to step away for 2 seconds, because, man, nature calls. So,
Yep.
I'll be right back.
Have fun. All right, yeah, this claw's coming along. Man. Contrast is tough for me. Because it just gets everywhere. But yeah, I want a little bit of black, and I want to like dry brush some details here. That's just like how her mounts usually are. And I want to like dry brush some color in between to like catch the white that I didn't paint on the sides, and just make it glowier. But yeah, I think this will look great when it's done. Let's see. Overall, I'm pretty hype on this book. I still think Legion of Blood's my favorite one. I'm probably gonna try Avangori first, to be honest, because I always like the Monster Mash stuff. I always like the models look so good. Love Terrorgeist, still one of my favorite kits. I honestly think the Mortark is my favorite kit in the line. Maybe in the game even.
Alright, I am back.
Welcome back. You know what, like, I just want to point out too, like, the picture on screen of like whatever that creature is, I want to own that model.
But what is it?
I don't know. But
I'm sure it's something in the book, and that's just like an artist rendition of something that they just.
It's probably a
they just didn't
Vargeist,
do it.
which is Battletome in this army, by the way.
Oh, that's probably what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, make that kit, and I will buy a lot of them. Especially with the battle line. Like, look how fucking cool that is, man.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
like, I'm so on board.
What do they actually look like? I don't even really know.
You know what Crypt Ghouls or Crypt players look like?
Oh, is it like the
hairy ones of those?
I gotta have to look these up.
Okay.
What are they called again?
Vargeist.
Vargeist, that's right. I'm sure I will remember these as soon as I see them.
Yeah. I'm sure you will, actually. I played them against you a couple times. Oh, I should have done this while you're at the bathroom. Grand strategies. Take your picture. Empire, of course, it seems really easy.
Yep.
It's replaced 3 units that die during the battle. Okay, fun. And then some of these battle tactics are actually pretty good, so. Cool. Nagash. He's in this book too. We went over him last time a lot. I don't want to add too much more. Except for I just want to ask the question. Is Nagash lets you return units, and the army lets you return units. Do you get to double tap in that? Obviously, it's going to be FAQ to no, I think. But that's an interesting question, don't you think?
I don't think it's gonna FAQ to no.
No?
Right? Like, no, I think that's a yes. It absolutely works like that because how many points are you spending for Nagash?
965.
Yeah, I think that's very reasonable even.
Yeah.
To let you double dip.
Maybe.
That's my opinion, right? Like, I think that was 100% intentional.
Yeah. Maybe that's my first Soulblight list instead of Avangori. I was telling the stream while you're gone. I think Avangori is gonna be my first list because I just like the models a lot. But
wasn't your first one gonna be the bringing back D3 corpse carts or adding D3 corpse carts?
Yeah, I think my first real list, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I know.
Alright, fine, yeah. I just forgot about that, but yeah, I gotta do that.
Anyway,
Yeah, alright. Anyway, but
yeah, yeah. So
that's a
yeah,
question to
no,
ask. Yeah. I hope you're right that it lets you do that, but I just don't see them. Like, this is the company that, like, when you could reroll the dice, like, when his War Scroll ability is, like, reroll the dice or add one. And, like, does this work with Rally? And they're like, no. And you're like, I don't get why not, but okay.
why not? It does. Rally very much does the thing.
Yeah, so maybe
Yeah.
they learned their lesson, but I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I really feel like okay. So first off, you need to have multiple things dead, right?
Yeah.
Or you could just get 2 chances at it potentially, right? But like,
Oh,
I
I'm
don't know.
talking about, like, a unit of 60 zombies died, right? Can I
Yep.
make a replacement unit of 30 with the Allegiance and a replacement unit of 30 with Nagash?
Oh, like 2 replacements of the same unit at the same time?
Yes.
Oh,
I don't
I
think
see
so.
what you're saying. Oh, okay. That's okay. I think that's different. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll let you do
I don't
that.
think they'll let you do that either, but
Yeah.
I think right now rules is written that says you can.
I guess is there any like clear rules for what a replacement unit really means? Like,
No, there probably is, yeah.
so I yeah, that's just like maybe it's already been FAQ'd at some point or something, but like
Yeah, like core rule says replacement can only be replaced once.
not even that, but like something that says like if a unit is replaced, it's like no longer considered dead,
Oh,
right?
okay, yeah.
Or something like that, so that it's not like you can just like. Or are you talking about like at like literally the same turn, bringing them both back?
Yeah, it would be the same turn, but they're different timings too. This is the beginning of hero phase rather than the end of move, so that FAQ would still work for it because they're not happening at the same time.
Right. Well, I didn't mean necessarily the same time. I just meant
Yeah, same
like
phase or
the
whatever. Yeah.
a unit is dead, and in one turn I go bring half back, bring half back again.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I don't think that's gonna be allowed.
I don't think it should be even.
Yeah, yeah. That sounds like it would be weird.
That would just make Nagash like absolutely the most playable in this army too. You know.
That would be really good. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No joke. Yeah, I'm guessing what it's gonna be is that a unit that is returned no longer counts as dead for the purposes of those rules.
I think that's
Because
a good
wait,
way.
yeah, actually, couldn't you? Actually, if that wasn't the case, let's think about it this way. If that wasn't the case, then that a unit that was brought back no longer counts as dead, right? Then you could just use the same ability the next turn after the replacement unit was set up and do it again, right?
Each destroyed unit can only be replaced once. Replacement units can not themselves be replaced. There's our answer, actually.
Okay, yeah, because you already replaced it, right? It's the same concept.
Yeah.
It's still saying replacement units.
Mm-hmm. But
Yeah.
Nagash
Okay.
doesn't
Yeah.
say replacement units can be replaced once.
Oh, he doesn't?
Oh, replacement units cannot be replaced themselves. Okay, never mind.
Okay, so I think they cleared it all up, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Sounds like it anyway. Yeah. Okay.
All right, Manfred. So he got the mortar upgrade too that Archon got. 14 wounds, 3 up saved. I'll mention it here. All the vampires have a rule called the Hunger, which they heal equal to the damage they dealt, which to a maximum of 6. So that's very powerful for survivability.
Oh yeah.
His damage is a little bit better. He lost the +1 to hit and wound aura, which is fine. His spell is I think an 18 inch. Each unit within 6 inches of a point takes D3 mortal wounds. Cast value 7. The main power he has, mostly is when he charges, he gets strike first. Also, when you issue redeploy, instead of redeploying, he can make a charge move.
Oh, that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
But okay. That's cool though. So you can charge on your opponent's turn stuff.
Get
So that's
strike
where
first.
like the trickiness comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, though, like the real cool thing about that is what his rule is too is when he kills a model. Yeah, when he kills a model, you give a 12-inch bubble of +1 attacks to summonable Legion of Knights units. So the way that used to work was like you charge in with him in the graveyard, and then you'd fight with him first, give graveyard +1 attack, and then they would delete graveyard off the face of the earth. now he can actually really pull that off. That +1 attack synergy, you know?
Oh, that's cool.
So, great upgrade overall. I believe he's 400 points.
Is that more or less than he was before?
More.
More.
Oh, you know,
So hopefully he's better enough.
I'm gonna actually scroll down to the points, and I'm gonna take a snapshot because I don't remember all of these. But yeah, I think we can move through War Scrolls at that speed. And like I missed some minutia things, but I'm just gonna go over like the big details.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think that's fine.
Yep.
Alright. Alright. Because we gotta get through these at a reasonable time. We got work in the morning.
Yep.
Neferata, her damage is about the same as it was before. Additional rend on one of her daggers, I think. Same changes with a wound and save. Her command ability for -1 to hit units in melee within 12 inches of her is just a passive, which is great. And her new special... Oh, she still has the unrendable spell. But now her Legion gives her +1 to cast it, so that's great. And then Mortarch of Blood. You could pick 3 friendly... So, but at the end of deployment, before determining control of objectives, you pick up to 3 friendly Legion of Blood units on the battlefield. First, remove this unit from the battlefield, set it up wholly within your territory. And then those units are set up, again, wholly within your territory.
Which allows you to just, like, swap everything around?
Yep. Yeah, that rules.
Yeah.
The question here that I don't know the answer to. You know how, like, sometimes your territory is there, but you still have to deploy outside of 9?
Oh, yeah, does it, like, get around that?
It doesn't say that you still have to adhere to it. That's an FAQ for me, at least.
Does it say redeploy them?
And then set them up again, wholly within your territory.
Oh, it doesn't.
Yep.
Oh, so yeah, I think you can... I think that's intended to work of, like, around those kinds of rules. Yeah.
I think it is, too. But this is, like, to me, like, FAQ. Does that work? Yes.
Yeah,
You
right.
know?
Because, like, the number of times they've said no is, like, kind of ridiculous on things that seem obvious, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but overall, like, that's super fucking powerful.
Yeah.
And she was doing all the same stuff that she did before. And, yeah, so I think she saw a pretty decent points hike for that, too.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I think she's 390 now.
That's quite hefty.
Yeah, she's 390. I guess Manfred's only 392, so that's fine. Still, though, like, I think one of the best units in this book, too, just for that redeploy thing. I think that's so friggin' powerful.
Yeah.
Okay. Prince 4 Dry. So, Vampire Lords on Zombie Dragons went up to 16 wounds, which is great. He got one more attack with a spear, which is like Ren 2, 2 damage, on the charge Ren 3, 3 damage. His spell is now casting value 7. If he gets it, strike first. And then... Oh yeah, the Zombie Dragon breath weapon changed. We'll talk about it here because it's here too. So, what it used to be is like 1 attack, 3s, 2s, -3 d6. Now it's...
one of those awful ones that like almost never does damage.
Yeah, and I guess Prince Mordrai, this is notable too. He used to have like mortal wound breath. So like on a 3-up does d6 mortal wounds, yada yada. But now like they both have the same one, and it's d6 shots, 3s, 3s, -1, 3 damage. So
how many shots did you say?
d6.
D6. Oh, okay.
So Ray and I did the math hammer on this, and it's like 1.5 more damage on average, but this has like a much bigger chance to spike, so it is actually pretty decently powerful compared to what it was before.
Yeah, like the chance of this for this to spike is like, yeah, it could easily do a ton of damage.
Yeah.
Or honestly nothing.
Yeah.
But
the average is a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And like I kind of like that. And it's like better at like chaffy stuff instead of like the big thing. Which is what I feel like it should be. But
yeah, it makes a lot of sense for it to be that.
I like the change, yeah.
Yep.
And I think like it's really cool, like we'll talk about it on the other vampires too. In Legion of Night, they get the heroic action to double Unleash Shell with this, basically.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
not the heroic action, the monstrous action. Yeah.
And that seems like you could just randomly do like a ton of damage to something with that. That feels really powerful, actually.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, and then he has a once per turn. If this unit is on the battlefield and the Castellite Vampire gains the ability of the Might of the Christmas Keep, you can pick one other Castellite unit wholly within 24 inches of this unit that has not already gained that ability. And it can gain that ability.
Ooh,
So,
okay. So you can kind of like randomly buff your whole army
yep.
with him.
And he
That's
is a
pretty sweet.
Castellite unit, you know, so.
Yeah. Wow, they actually made a unique unit for some for like this book actually feels great because they actually made like unique units for like everything. Remember I was complaining about that last time?
Yeah.
Like here's the book that actually does it.
Yeah, and what I really like about it too is they're like pretty good war scrolls by themselves. Like Neferata's spell is still very good. Like countercharge strike first. But they all have a rule that synergizes with the Legion. Like
Which is
Neferata
awesome.
can only redeploy Legion of Blood stuff. Manfred only buffs Legion of Night with the attacks, right?
Right.
So like you have no reason you can't run them in their legions, other than the fact that they're War Master in their legion and not other ones. But
Yeah.
that's usually not enough. But they actually have like really powerful incentives to keep them in their home legion. But it doesn't shut you off from doing that too. So I think that's excellent design.
Yep.
All right, Luca Vi. She's the Avangori one. Her combat profile got a lot better. 11 wounds, 3 up save. Her stuff is way different. They don't have that like fucking roll equal to the battle round, and if you do, they become monstrous and they get run and charge, but they can't issue commands. That's gone. Thank God.
Thank God.
They worsen the rend within 1 inch, or 3 inches rather, by 1. Once per turn, she can carry 2 monstrous actions. Oh no, hold on. She can pick an Avangori unit within 12 to carry out 2 monstrous rampages.
Oh, that's cool.
That fucking rules. Yep.
Yeah, that's really good.
And then her spell, the Queen's Dictate, I think, or Dictat. Casting value 6, range 24. Pick a unit, and you give all monsters within 6 inches of that enemy the 6-inch cheater pile-in.
Oh wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So like it's basically like if you can get close enough, it's just like army run and charge.
That's
and then
pretty
like
silly.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Or like even if you like charge in with something and they're like, oh, I want to pile in to get more attacks, they might just like pile in and just bring all of your monsters in now.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's 300 points.
Is she worth that with what she does for damage and stuff too, or are you only running her for the buff there?
Well, so she's 5 attacks, 3's 3's minus 2 2, and her shitty D6 attack went from 4's 3's to 3's 2's minus 2 3 damage. So she does like almost double damage.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, and she's 300 points as opposed to 285.
Yeah.
And she was like on the cusp of playability, and now she just like does cheater movement and like almost double damage. I think she's worth it in Avangori.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And she did lose a spell I really liked, but it was also like casting value 7 with no like buffs. And it was like things within 12 inches have their charge roll.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
which is honestly really good. And I remember being got by that a couple times, but
yeah. But I don't know, like she just synergizes with the monsters so well.
Yep.
Like the 2 monsters actions was like, oh, you can roar and then do one of your really good Avangori ones. Like
right?
I don't know,
Yeah.
like I think
That's sweet.
I think she's playable. Like I don't
Good.
think she's like I don't know if she's like tournament best, but I feel like somebody could do well at tournaments with Avangori, and she's a key piece of it.
Nice.
Which is awesome because her model rules.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
Ben-Gurion Lord I'm a little sad about. I think he's way better. Because again, like the 4's 3's went to 3's 2's, minus 2, 3. So like the damage is much better on these.
Yep.
However, like I think he's much better, but he's very narrow, as in he only works with monsters, so I just personally wanted him to be like taken with all the armies as like a good support piece, but he's just a monster support, unfortunately.
Okay, yeah.
But like it's fine. How many points is he, though? I don't know why I can't find him on this list. Oh, it's not Avangori Lord, it's Vengorian Lord. Yep. And he is 280. Worsens the Rend. So once per turn, you can pick a monster wholly within 12. Or pick a monster that is not a hero, wholly within 12, that destroyed any enemy units in that phase. You can heal all wounds allocated to that monster.
Wow.
Yep. That's super good.
Dude.
Yep.
That sounds like the most frustrating thing in the world.
It
Holy
really does.
shit.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. He has the hunger.
But at the same time, like, that's so good.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, like, his whole role and his spell gives a hunger to a monster that's not a hero, which is like the heal up to the damage they deal to a maximum of 6.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So he's just like a heal bot for your monsters.
Oh, yeah, he super is, huh?
Which I like the design space, and I think like you can't make everything just like generically Buffy good, and like the foot hero is usually going to win out on that. But like to give him like this super powerful niche role, like that's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. Yeah.
And his damage is similar to Lucavi.
Yeah. So his main weapon is a lot weaker, 1 less attack, 1 less rend. Yep. But the rest of the profile is the same.
Okay.
But you know, they're reasonable.
Yeah, and it's interesting that they really have a defined role. I do like that too. Yeah.
I'm just gonna skip over the Cursed City stuff unless it's like super interesting. Like Radikar gives +1 attack on the charge, but so doesn't Big Radikar. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, Big Radikar. He lost his once per game summon the 10 Dire Wolves, but that went to his sub faction.
Yep.
Yeah, he gives the Virkas within 12 inches +1 attack when he charges. You have -1 to hit and wound him now. Just for any attack.
That's really good.
Yep. This unit cannot retreat. However, at the end of any phase, if mortal wounds are allocated to this unit in that phase, and this unit is more than 12 inches from all enemy units, this unit can move D6. And I think he's still like in the 300-ish points range. But he's 12 wounds with a 4-up save, -1 to hit and wound. I think he's reasonable. Yeah, 290. So he dropped a little bit too.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I think he'll be fun. Yeah, Evia Volga is 130, and she was the one from Warhammer, or the preview article that just says monsters within combat with her have 1 attack. Which, super good. But like 130, and then 5 attacks. At 3 speeds, -1, 2. And then 2d6 at 4, 4, -1, 1. And also, if she has any wounds allocated to her, it's instead of 2d6, it's just 12. I think she's going to see some play. Yeah.
Oh, but how do you get like
a wound?
Is she a new one?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, my question is like, how do you like get a wound on her, right, without her dying?
I think a great way to do that, and it's not reliable, but if you have like damned terrain, if you play the terrain rules.
Oh yeah, that would
just yeah. I was gonna say you can miscast, but she can't be a wizard. Man, they really missed out with like one of the artifacts not being like, oh, do a mortal wound to the bear. If you do, blah blah
blah. Yeah, right. Like maybe that would have been too good. I don't know.
Yeah, just like always keep the 12 attacks, but you know.
Yeah.
I mean, 2d6 is like she's reasonable damage for her profile at 130.
Yeah.
Cool. Belladama, she stayed the same, dropped 30 points. But the big thing you lost with her is reroll casting from your allegiance.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's just +1 cast. She has the exploding 6 bubble. She has the hunger. And then she can turn you into wolves. With her spell, too.
That was a really cool thing.
Yep.
Right.
And she's still mostly the same thing.
Yeah.
So I respect it.
Was she just like a little too overcosted before?
No, she was perfect, but her
Oh, okay.
allegiance, like Vircost, used to give you reroll casts, and she would benefit from it 'cause she had the Vircost keyword. So she's
Oh,
30
okay.
points less, but she doesn't reroll casts anymore.
Oh, okay. So she got worse.
Yeah,
I'm sure with that. Yeah. Okay. I see.
but like I don't know, like I think that's a fair trade-off.
Yeah.
Like 170 for a +1 cast wizard with 2 spells, and like 2 of them are very good spells.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I think she's great. 9 wounds, warp save, okay attacks and melee.
Yep.
Yeah.
She has the right amount of wounds to be good.
Mm-hmm. So Gorslav was the guy who brought back Deadwalker units. Um, he changed. He went up 40 points, and he only hits zombies now. So that's a
Okay.
shame. Yeah.
Yeah. But there's the. Yeah. Was that an artifact or a command trait that brought back the Deadwalker units in that one faction?
Oh, that returned models to it.
Yeah.
Heroic action.
Oh, yeah. That's right. That's right.
But this is also the sub-faction that the named characters can take their artifacts and stuff anyway.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So what I was saying is they kind of baked it into that instead.
Yeah.
Was what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like with the other one that you just mentioned that I can't think of at all. That got baked in. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, like what he did, I guess when I say bring back, was how like you can roll to return a slain unit and like make a replacement unit?
Yep.
He just has a command ability. Oh, and it's actually a once per game ability now too, instead of a command ability to do that.
Oh, okay.
So he got a lot worse, but that's probably fine. He was probably too much. What he was before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, let's skip through. Torgilius has a 12-inch bubble of 5 up ward for summonables. That's really cool. And he's 120, and he's a 1-cast wizard, so he'll probably see some play. Bloodborne, they're 9 attacks, 6 are mortal wounds, run and charge. I think. Oh no, they don't have run and charge. They can move 10 inches at the beginning of the game after deployment before the battle rounds begin. They're kind of cute. Halgrim can triple issue at the double. Vargskirs and Kosgari are just like okay little beaters. And Kosgari can bodyguard Little Radiker, but I'm not sold on that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see much value in these Fear Cost heroes. I read them before. I don't think we really have the time to go through them all, but in the comments, if you think I'm wrong, just like let me know, I guess.
Yeah. It's just like so many things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon. Apparently everybody in this army wants you to run one, so what do? They move 14. The profile's mostly the same. The Death Lance is 3 attacks, 3 3 minus 2, 2. But it's minus 3, 3 on the charge. Or you can take the sword that's 5 attacks, 3s, 2s, minus 1, 2. I don't know. Wait, which one do you take?
You just math hammer it, right?
Yeah, and I think it's just the Death Lance usually. But so 16 wounds, 3 up save. Also, this guy and Vordry also have it too. Anything that's a zombie dragon, you can't issue Inspiring Presence if you're within 3 inches of them.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Yep.
And then he has a curse that's like a damage, and then 3 up another damage. Keep doing this till you fail or you kill the model. 440.
440. So that's pretty expensive.
Yep.
But like everything has something that works with them, of course.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm taking him in almost every list I make, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Oh, it caught off in the picture. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 440 still. But like Legion of Blood, like +1 attack on all those profiles, unrendable, and then like the heroic action to make it so you can't either like do your all out defense easier or like ignoring wards. That's super fucking powerful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's amazing. Kato's exactly the same. He was really good. He's still gonna be good. He doesn't have a sub-faction, though, so he's not going to benefit from any of them. Oh, wait! Actually, no, that means he can benefit from any of them, rather.
Even better.
Even better, yeah. So he rules.
Yeah.
Vampire Lord is 130 points, and it used to have a command ability where you pick a unit within 12 and you give them +1 attack. Now it just has a once per turn ability to give a summonable unit within 12 +1 attack. You don't spend a command point anymore. You just do it.
Oh, sweet.
Great. Has the hunger, and then like a decent attack profile. It's really hard to paint and do this, so I'm done painting for now, I guess.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's honestly hard to like I find my mind wandering of like, oh, what color should I use here? And then I'm like, well, I have no idea what was just said. Okay.
Sorry about that.
Try to catch up. Oh no, that's
I think this is the best way to do it, yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure, for sure.
So Blood Knights went up 30 points, so they're 230 now. The huge difference here is they're mostly the same, except for their Rend 2 on their spear attack instead of Rend 1. And I think that honestly makes all of the difference. Because they did not hit at all before, because like everything could just save through them.
Yep.
And like you just have Rend 1 here, or Rend 2 now. And like that extra damage on the charge. So 3 attacks, 3s, -2/2. That's reasonable.
Yeah.
Like Legion of Blood, you can just make them ignore, like, you can try to make sure they can't do the all-out defense with that command ability, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's even more rend in that case. And that's a great unit to run with Neferata, too, to make them the unrendable. So they're 2-up unrendable. So they have damage now, which I think they struggled to find before, unless you're in that very specific Castelli build, which gave them 3 attacks, which you still can do, but you just have more rend now.
Which is sweet, right?
Yeah.
So is Castelli still that's still like the best spot to run them?
I think Castelli or Legion of Blood, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I think you don't have, like, you used to have a command trait in Castelli that was, you got the +1 attack, or you got the +1 damage thing once per game just for a turn. So you could just like make them damage 3 whenever you wanted. And you don't have that anymore. So like they took a little bit of a hit in that regard, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I still think they're very reasonable.
Cool.
Yeah. And the extra rend really helps them.
Yeah.
The Vargeist are about the same. They're 155. They deep strike. 12. Yeah, there's 3 of them that are 4 wounds on a 5-up save. Move 12. And each attack that's a 6 is 2 hits instead of 1. 3 attacks, 3s, -1, 2 damage. They're fine. But they are vampires, so they do get the Castelli bonuses too. So if they do kill a unit, they can be 3 damage, yeah. Overall though, like I think if you really want the deep strike, I think there's good reasons to want that, and they'll be fine there. But otherwise, like I think they're only okay in a book full of great stuff, you know?
Yeah. So like probably just gonna get left off because they just don't like cut the mustard quite enough.
Exactly. And they're not like summonable, so you can't bring them back or anything.
Right. Which is kind of huge in this book.
Yep. So Askerrigan Trueblades, they're 180 for whatever the unit size is. I think it's 8. Yeah, it's 8. So they have a gut-wrenching howl, which at the beginning of a combat, you pick an enemy unit within an inch of them, and on a 4-up, you give them strike last. And you add 1 to the roll if it's reinforced. So on a 3-up, you give strike last. And yeah, so if they're vampires, so if they're in Castelli, they can get the 2 damage and the extra attack. If they kill a monster, they get an extra attack. But like I just think a reinforced brick of these, like 2 wounds each of the 4-up save. So what is that? That's 16 times 2 is 32 wounds that you can like of course like give all the defensive buffs that you need to them. And then on a 3-up just give strike last. I think there's some actual reasonable play there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they were a lot better in the old book where you could just pop the once per game, give them +1 damage when you needed it.
Yeah.
But still, like, I think they were going to be good.
Yeah, how many points are they?
I think they're 180 for 8.
180 for 8.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're reasonably wound efficient. too.
Yeah. Yeah,
On top of
exactly.
everything.
They're not like absurdly wound efficient, but they're pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty good. And
Yeah.
they're certainly not embarrassing by any stretch.
And I think even in like Legion of Blood with Neferata, you can make them 3 unrendable, so they're actually super wound efficient in that regard.
Oh yeah, absolutely. At that point,
Yeah, and like you don't care about their damage, so you don't need them in cast life with the bonus damage.
can you ever make them battle line?
No,
Okay, so
unfortunately.
you can never double reinforce.
Yeah, to make it strike last on a 2-up. That was my first thought, but no, you can't do that.
Bummer.
Yeah, Bloodseeker Palanquin. I think it does largely the same stuff and went down a little bit, but I'm still not sold. I love this. Oh, that's another thing too. Is the spirit hosts in this book? They lost their 6s or mortal wounds, which is fine.
Oh, that's weird though.
Yeah,
I feel like they've always had that.
they've always had that, but spirit hosts always had that, and they lost it in the Night Hunt book. So
Oh, they did. Okay.
it's whatever. But
I forgot about
yeah,
that.
I just think the hunger makes like these 12 wound things, like 16 wound things, way more survivable. So they might see a surge in playability because of that.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're embarrassing. I think they're fun, but I don't think they're great. Yes. Mortis Engine, though. 230 points. Completely rewritten. So it's got like an AoE shooting attack, so everything within 12 inches on a 4-up. Oh, 16 inches that brackets. I guess Palanquin had this too, that's important to note, but yeah, 4-up, D3 mortal wounds. Every time a Soulblight Wizard casts a spell within range of them, you put a token on them to a maximum of 6. And once per battle, everything within 6 inches takes damage equal to the amount of tokens on it.
You don't have to like roll on a 2-up for that?
No.
Really? They always
rules,
make you roll.
Right? Yeah.
What the heck?
I think they heard a lot of the criticism of the Black Coach, and they fixed it here.
That's good.
So that's great. However, that's not the most impressive thing.
Because that's pretty good, though.
Yeah. Nexus of Death Energy. Each time you pick a friendly Soulblight Gravelords summonable unit wholly within 12 inches that is using the Deathly Invocation's battle trait, instead of just 3, it's D3 plus 3.
It bring back D3 plus 3?
That many wounds worth, yep.
Holy crap.
Yep.
Okay, that's pretty good.
230 points for this.
Now, have they ever fixed the thing where, like, if there's, like, 1 wound on something, you have to heal it as opposed to, like, bringing models back or something like that?
I'm pretty sure it's still the same wording, but let's double check that. Yeah, so 3 friendly units can either heal up to 3 wounds allocated to it, or if no wounds have been allocated. Okay, so if a direwolf has a wound left, yeah.
Yeah, it just turns the thing off, right?
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Which is so annoying, weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it is annoying. Like, just let me bring guys back. Like, it'll still just be, like, 1 guy with a wound allocated to it. Like,
yeah.
There's no problem here.
Oh, I went too far. I went too far.
Yep. Oh, no. Oh, no.
All right.
Everyone hurt your guys.
Yeah, but 230 for that, like, seems beyond reasonable to me.
Yeah.
I can't wait to try that. Yeah. Coven Throne? This one's weird. It used to have like a +1 to hit, wound, and save ability. That's gone. What it does now, it's at 270. It can double issue a command. Yeah, this issue can issue the same command up to 2 times in that same phase. If it does so, each command must be received by a friendly Soulblight Gravelord summonable unit. No command point is spent on the second time. Okay. And if you take the first turn in the combat round, you can attempt to cast 1 extra spell in your hero phase. If you take the second turn, you receive 1 extra command point.
Oh, interesting. It does something different based on
the turn order. Yeah. And then you have a spell, casting value 7, range of 12. Pick an enemy hero, D3 mortal wounds. If you kill it, you make a vampire lord within 3 inches of the slain hero.
What? All right, I like that.
270.
That's cool.
I think she's good. Like, double issue commands, that's so good. Right?
Yeah.
And, like, it's a reasonable body. It does a lot less damage, though, because, like, this mortal wounds things are gone. Mm-hmm. Actually, her sword went up to 2 damage. Did the Palanquin too, actually? Now I'm looking at it. Yeah. Okay, so they went from 1 damage to 2 damage on the leader, so that's reasonable, actually.
I mean, is it just like the normal leader profile that everything has these days?
It is,
Yeah,
but
it totally is.
I can't say that it does less damage when like you expected 2 mortal wounds and then they changed their attack profile for 1 more attack and 1 more damage, you know?
No, true. Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
wrong what I was saying, but yeah,
yeah.
it's still not a ton of damage.
Yeah, it's not super exciting.
Yeah, it
But
used to be like this cheesy model with a really powerful command ability, but I
Mhm.
think double issuing like all out defense is good enough, or like all out
Oh,
attack or
probably.
something like that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. I agree.
I think she's gonna see play. I don't think she's like even close to an auto include, but she'll have some fun uses in some lists. I think.
I mean, that's where you want to be, right?
Yep. Zombie dragons, like all the zombie dragons, so the vampire lords and then Rodri too. The breath weapon changed, and the bite attack went from D6 damage to 3. And then the zombie dragons actually got a new special rule by themselves. They can deep strike.
They can just deep strike?
Yep.
Well, okay. That's cool.
Yeah, 300 points. They'll see play.
That's interesting that they made it like slightly different. It wasn't just like you put the guy on top and it's just like, well, why wouldn't I run this one?
Yeah.
I like that.
I really like that, yeah. Especially in Avangori when it can be battle line. Like, let's go.
Right? Yeah. No,
That's
I like that a
awesome.
lot.
Terrorgeist is exactly the same from what I can tell. But he didn't really need to change. He was always like the better take over Zombie Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's an interesting choice.
Yeah, which is awesome.
I like it. Yeah,
Yeah,
300 points again, but yeah. But you have like a lot of ways to heal them up.
Mm-hmm.
The White Kings, I'm super happy with what they did to them. So they have 5 attacks, with like standard hero profile, but 6s are a mortal wound. Or 2 mortal wounds in addition to any damage. So they do like a little bit more than the foot vampires. They're 135, and then their special rule is they pick a death rattle. So the White King on foot picks a skeleton or a graveguard within 12, and each 6 is 2 hits. And White King on horse does that to the Blood Knights, or the Black Knights rather, which is cool. But they're summonable heroes, so they can come back too.
Which is so cool. I like that a lot.
What I don't
I
know,
feel like that was something that was missing.
Yeah, because I don't think it has the same verbiage of like replacement unit. So I think they keep their relics too when they return to life. So if they're carrying an artifact, they still have it.
Oh, that's cool.
You can pick a summonable hero. You can set up that hero wholly within 12 inches of a friendly Soulblight Gravelords hero on a gravesite, more than 3 inches from all enemy units, with 3 wounds allocated to it.
Yeah, I don't see why not. That
Yep.
seems very clear. Yeah, that it keeps the relic.
Which that's awesome. Like this was a unit that like was never good enough.
Yep.
And now it's just like I don't know. I'm gonna be playing with them a lot actually, especially the foot one.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Because Graveguard still rule.
Yep.
And like just they're a free damage buff with Graveguard power pair with the Vampire Lord. Yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree. Sounds awesome.
Yep. Black Knights are 100 points. I'm pretty sure. I guess we'll check at the end because I didn't take that picture, but they're either 100 or 120. And they just have the same charge that the Cavalos Death Riders did with the 5 or roll equal to the charge, each 5's a mortal wound. So they're cute.
Are they summonable?
They're summonable, yep. So they're like your flank unit that you just throw right out and try to get them killed turn 1, you know?
I'm sorry, with all the scrolling, like I had thought we were on the White King on the Mount. Or there for a second.
Oh. White King on the Mount is also summonable.
Okay, that's what I was asking. Yeah.
Yeah, he has a 2-up D3 mortal wound charge, and then you can buff the. Oh, actually, his buff is different. So he gives the deathly charge of the Black Knights. So they have a charge where they roll for each. Yeah, it's the ogre charges. You roll equal to the charge roll each 5-up. He makes that trigger on a 4-up.
Ooh.
Yep. Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, and he's 165. Black Knights are 100, I think. Graveguard are exactly the same, except for it's a hit to 4 and a wound of 3 instead of a 3 and 4, which I think is obviously better. Because +1 to wound's very hard to find.
Right, right. Except I feel like in this book. Am I wrong about that? Did I see a bunch of
you have +1 to wound on like mount action or monster's action, and you had +1 to wound on a command trait. So for the monsters, yeah.
Yeah, but not for this. Okay, yeah.
Let's see. So and then there's like the Neferata ability that makes them hit on a 2-up. So they're 2s, 3s. Like that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Great synergy. All right, Necromancer. So his Van Hell's Dance Macabre changed. So what it does now is cast melee 6, range of 18. Pick a Gravelord summonable unit that is within range, visible to the caster, and within 3 of an enemy. They fight. So it's no longer you put the double combat buff, you charge them in, and they have 2 activations for the battle round.
It's fighting the hero phase.
Yep. That being said, he went from 120 points to 90 points.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yep. So great stuff. Oh, man. Deadwalker Zombies. This is probably a divisive change. I think some people are really going to be upset. Because they lost the Cheater 6-inch pile-in and the Mortal Wounds on hits of 6.
Oh.
Yeah. They're 115. And what they do now is when they die on a 5-up, the attacking unit suffers 1 mortal wound.
Oh, I like those abilities.
I think it's actually way better for this unit.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know, like, I don't think you're getting much damage out of the 6s to hit or mortal wounds.
Sure.
Yeah, and also, the Corpse Cart gives that back to them, too, if you really need it.
Oh, cool.
On top of having 1 more attack base.
So that's, like, kind of like the thing you do with them, right?
Yeah.
At that point? Yeah.
If you really want the damage, you can build for it, but they're just a great wall. They die, they come back, they get in the way, they have to charge them, they take more damage. Great.
Yeah. I kind of like that.
I really like that. Better. Yeah.
Yeah.
That being said, Direwolves, they got a really interesting new rule.
Okay.
They're 130 points, still the same, but this unit is eligible to fight in the combat phase if it's within 6 inches of an enemy unit instead of 3 inches, and it can move an extra 3 inches when it piles in.
Wow.
The joke was that's what zombies lost.
Yeah,
they gave it to the dog, which makes way more sense, honestly.
It does honestly make way more sense.
Yeah, they rule.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you still have that tool if you really need it.
Yeah. And they're on, like, your, like, generic fast unit that you wanted to, like... Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and, like, it's easier to, like, from a 4-inch to a 10-inch to actually pull that trick off. To just, like, run in charge and then do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have mortal wounds on 6s, but they're not 5s with 1 attack. They're 4s with 2 attacks, so whatever.
Right.
Yep. Fellbats are exactly the same, 80 points, except for they're 2 damage instead of 1 damage.
Were you ever, like, doing damage with them?
3 attacks, 4s, no runs, 2 damage? Maybe.
Maybe. Hard maybe.
Hard maybe, but, like, whatever.
Yeah, like, still you're not gonna complain about it, right? Like.
And another thing, too, is the Allegiance just says summonable, not summonable Deadwalkers or Death Rattle. So you can return this unit now, again.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep, great.
Now, did they go up in points?
By 5.
Oh, okay, that's not
negligible, yeah.
Yeah.
Corpse Cart,
it's gonna suck when your list is over by 5.
Oh, yeah, and I'm gonna throw a fit.
You'll be like, it's like, come on. Yep. I didn't need that extra damage. Lower these by 5.
Yeah.
Did they put them on, like, an even number, though? Like a even 10s?
Yeah, went from 75 to 80.
Oh, okay.
Which is fine.
They were probably gonna do it anyway, and they were like,
yep.
For 5 points, what can we give them?
2 damage.
Yeah,
perfect.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, we lost the Corpse Cart, that's the -1 to wound bubble, which is sad. But it adds 1 to your cast rolls and subtracts 1 from enemies. 80 points. And then it gives the Dead Walker zombies the 6s are mortal wounds. And then you can return D3 of them with the Vierkos heroic action. Powerful unit.
Yes, you can.
Yep.
No, I like that they made that like more directly work with zombies. I like that.
Yeah, they made it a build around tool. And
Yeah.
like the cast is just good generically too, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like it's a reasonable unit at that point cost.
Yep.
And like that thing's gonna get FAQ to change, but it's still like if you really want your zombies to do damage, you still have that option. But it's not just like the generic pick anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Death Rattle Skeletons. So you thought you were gonna see the whole book without a version of a 4-up rally, didn't you?
No.
So at the start of the combat phase, roll a dice for each slain model from this unit. On a 4-up, you can return 1 slain model.
Oh, they just get up on their own?
Yep.
And wait a second, this gets around the 4-up rally fix that they did.
It gets around that, and it gets around being in combat.
I mean, I'll be honest, it's just very fitting, though. I mean, like, do they do anything else?
They have 1 attack each. 4s, 3s, no rend, 1 damage. However, you improve their rend by 1 if there's more models in this unit than the thing they're fighting.
It's not nothing, I guess. But most of the time, it's going to be nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Or you, like, maybe in the Legion of Blood, like, you have a big unit, and then you have, like, them hitting on 2s, and it's 2s, 3s, -1, 1. And then Vampire Lord gave him +1 attack. So it's a heavy build around.
Yeah, like, if you really want them to do damage, yeah, it's a heavy build around. For sure.
Which there's way better things to do anyway.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
like, I like the way it's worked. Instead of, like, when they're picked to fight, it's for each one dead. It's not, like, paperwork. And it's not like this mind game of, like, oh, can I make you fight them last?
Right.
Which, like, they're fine.
Yeah, I like that way better.
Yep.
And
Like,
then, like, that's like a 4-up rally. It's like, oh, it's a death unit. In fact, it's a skeleton. Like, I expect this to do that thing.
Yeah. It's like a
right?
It's like a shitty unit that's its role, you know?
Yeah, it's like I expect this.
I'm not getting like Blood Warriors, back.
Yeah.
I'm not getting Bow Snakes back on the 4-up.
Yeah.
So it's reasonable.
Yeah.
Sepulchral card. I'll take a second for you guys to look at it. I'm not reading it. It's an Underworld's Warband. It's probably okay. Same with the King Morlack Velmorn. Even though those models rule, they might be fun. I don't think so. They're probably not going to do much.
They don't usually. Yeah.
Dauntless, same deal. Yeah. Yeah, we're probably going to get yelled at for skipping one of these who's really good in some instance, but...
I know, yeah. Well, hey, great.
I just want to be done by 10.
That's great.
Yeah,
please
give us
yell us. Please tell us.
Yeah, I would love to actually hear it, to be honest. It's just...
Yeah.
I needed to do 45 War Scrolls in an hour, and we just barely did it, you know?
Yep.
Oh my god. Yeah, and those are the points. I think... I just want to double check the Black Knights. Oh, 110. Okay, I was close. And I think everything else I was right. I didn't say Prince 4 Dry. He's 470.
Pretty expensive.
Yep. But he's good.
Yeah.
Closing thoughts.
Let's hear it.
What do you got? Yeah. I think... I'm a really big fan of how they did the legions in this book. I think that makes it so compelling. And I think there's just like a lot of tools to build around. And there's like different incentive structures to run different units, which is a great way to do it for like a book with 45 War Scrolls.
Honestly, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like one of the things that's kind of sad about the way they did Stormcast, I think, with all of their units.
I think Stormcast could learn a thing from this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Like, yeah. Like, it makes it sad that they did that. Like they did to start the new edition.
Yeah, and like I guess like not every army needs something like this, but maybe that's the dividing line: is how many War Scrolls you have.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, if you're above 30, you get this treatment with your allegiances to like incentivize you to run different things.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's yeah. You want to like use. Yeah. Yes.
And like,
I'm trying to say that differently, and I was just saying the same thing again.
Yeah, exactly. It's fine. But honestly, I don't know if they're all equal competitively as far as the sub factions go.
Yeah,
But I think
they
at the
never are,
bare
right?
minimum, none of them are like, "What are you even doing here?" Right?
Yeah.
Like they all seem like a very rewarding, fun experience.
None of them are the old Ivory Host.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And like, it's just there's so much cool stuff you get to do with these.
Yeah.
I love the White King changes.
I love that it's summonable. That's like the coolest thing.
Yeah, and like it's a reasonable ability too.
Yeah.
Like the exploding sixes. Most units actually, I read them like, okay, I could see how you'd use them. I'd see why you want to. Zombie dragons, I think, are going to see more play, even than just Avangori. They're not hard to kill, but like 300 points, like a very threatening deep strike thing. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Overall, like I'm very happy about this book, and I'm glad it's not just like a facelift too. Of like, oh, we'll just update a couple things to bring it in the modern line. Like,
yeah, they do. They definitely do that with some books.
yeah,
Like, it's like, oh, here's just like some quality of life changes.
and like I think the only things I said I didn't like were like nitpicky things too, which is great place to be honest.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What
I
do you
think there's definitely, well, in the like don't like, I feel like there's plenty of sub factions where it's like you get one option for a command ability and artifact, and you just have to figure out that that's the case. They give you a little homework.
Yeah.
But that's okay. They had to make a lot of them, I guess. It's tough to create that much content.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. I feel like you should have a guy who's like reading over them and being like, oh, here's what like we've done peer reviews before, right? Wouldn't you be like, there's no reason to take these other two. What are we doing here?
Yeah, right? Like, yeah. Agree.
That's all.
Yeah, no, overall, the book as a whole seems very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see how it turns out in practice.
I don't know, like, I don't know. In my summation, I think this is the more powerful of the two books that we just got.
Okay.
Not by a lot, but I just think, like, the ability to be able to screen with, like, the summonable units, like, outside of 3 near your hero, I think that's gonna, like, be...
You think that's gonna be the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know, like, I could be, like, I'm not convinced I'm right about that either, but...
I'm certainly not gonna tell you you're wrong, though.
Yeah, I'm so excited that they put, like, wounds on the hero, like, ways to keep them safe in all the sub-factions that you have.
Yep.
And then, like, a really powerful heal on them. Because, like, so many games of Vampire Lord and Zombie Dragon just charge in and die, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Legion of Blood...
Yeah, like, they really needed a way to keep them alive.
Yeah, and they actually did that.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm thrilled with this book.
Sweet.
Can't wait to play. Alright, so...
Can't believe they gave the Ethereal Amulet back. Oh my god.
Do you think that's actually a bad choice?
No, not necessarily. We'll see how it plays. I'm just being silly.
No, but like I was actually curious about that because like I'm extremely biased because like my earliest memories of this game were just like putting that thing on a guy and just going fucking ham zone on it, you know?
Yep.
Like, yeah, oh, yeah, this is fun.
It's like, how can I kill that thing? It's impossible.
Yeah, so but like, I don't know. It might be a bad thing.
I'm not saying it is. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
It'll probably be tame enough.
I think so.
Yeah, me too.
Well, anyway, I'm not sure when we'll be on next because you're going away for a little bit. Yeah, let me know in the comments, actually. I'm thinking about maybe doing some TTS content, just playing some games. I have some friends who would probably want to play with me too, so if that's something people want to see, I'm into it. Yeah. But anyway, I gotta go. My voice is going. Have a good night.